Berube hockey. You know, they did blow some third period leads. They did have some penalty kill problems, throughout that preseason as well. But they're hemming teams in. They're getting in on the forecheck. They're playing that style that is conducive to success in the playoffs, and that's what you want. They built some chemistry before Lawton got hurt. It looked like Lawton, Lorentz, and Cowan were a good line as well, too.
Yeah.
Michelli had some shades, and finding Matthews in and out of the time that they played together as well. Matthew Nyes looks like he has an extra hop in his step. So, again, there's a lot of things to be positive about right now.
Yeah.
And, again, I don't think anyone's pushing that panic button despite, some of the question marks that are up front. We got to trust the brain trusts. We said that last year, too.
Yeah.
And Treliving has made some cold, calculated moves that paid very, very solid dividends, which is I'm excited for this year as well.
Well, they were deep last year. They're deeper this year, so that's always a plus.
They are, and that Sammy Blaze is going to be a guy that I think fans are going to fall in love with really quickly, and he was in the minors all the year last year, but he did put up 40 points. He was closer, over a point a game in the minors in Abbotsford, winning an AHL championship. Big, strong, plays a heavy game. I believe he was close to a point a game a few years ago at St. Louis under Craig Berube. So, Again, more depth. 82-game season. You're going to go through, knock on wood, 8 defensemen, probably 14, 15 forwards. I saw a stat the other day. I think the Colorado Avalanche went through like 64 players.
Oh,
something like maybe 40. 40-something.
They did a marvelous job
that
last
is a
year.
lot.
They moved both goalies out.
Right, and that's today's NHL. So again, they're making some of these moves that are just solid, small. But I think it's going to pay dividends when it matters most, and that's in the playoffs.
Well, look, you cut back to the disappointment of the last playoff run, and quite frankly, in all of them, you would have said certain players didn't deliver, but the whole team didn't deliver. And if you have the whole team delivering, you have the Florida Panthers.
Yes. Well, I forgot, so I'm sure they forgot, too, exactly what happened. But
you forgot Game 5 and 7, really?
Yeah, they had them on the ropes, though. But you look at, the one thing I do remember is Game 3, right? They were up a couple goals early, right? And they had a chance to put the game away.
Right. 3-0.
So you do the math on that. They win that game. It's a totally different picture, right? But
close.
Again, we don't deal on what ifs. It's absolutes here. We understand too, and a bit of luck either way. They could have easily been in the conference finals or Stanley Cup finals. But for me, I want to see a little bit more consistency. I want to see guys step up and not go through slumps. I want to see guys stay healthy. I want to see guys take the next step, and that's what I'm looking for in these the first very little outside noise. I think the first time it happened was near the trade deadline when the Marner situation came up. So they've done a great job about that. The focus has been the product on the ice, and I'd like to see that continue this year.
Well, look, I think most people have confidence in the coach and the general manager, and I don't know if that was said a lot in the past, but we understand that when you look at this roster, in a couple of minutes we'll rhyme through who's going to start for the Leafs. It has to define itself. It has to contribute at all levels, and that's what we're waiting to see. You and I have talked many times in the preseason. There's a winger on each line that sort of has to step up, and that's okay because that means that the 1-2 pairing on each line is set.
Yeah, and you've seen some players take the next step. Some of them. There's Mike Futa there. How you doing, Futes? There. Who's he scouting? But Nick Robertson, right? He was on the outside looking in, right? He had to get a ticket to the outside to look in, and he finds himself in his play.
Well, there's a guy who had a great training
on the
camp.
Third line, right?
Yeah.
Say what you want about Yankroke. He did have his injury problems last year. This guy's played 700 games in the National Hockey League. He knows what he's doing, and he's brought in as a Swiss Army knife that can sort of go up and down too. You have Cowan sort of waiting in the wings as well too. So you have a lot of everyday NHLers where you look at some of these other teams that are trying to make their way and take the next step. They have 4, 5, 6 huge holes where they're like, are these guys even everyday players, right? So, again, it's slow, steady, solid players. That's how they're choosing to sort of build this roster and fill out sort of the outside of it, and we'll see how it goes.
So here's the big question. When you look at the Leaf roster, I mean, how many questions do you have? What's your concern level like?
Bobby McMahon. Right? Is he a guy that can take the next step? And for me, yes, he did score his 20-plus goals, but there was 19 games where, he wasn't scoring. But, I was, when I was in the league and I wasn't scoring, I had to take the onus on myself to do something every single game. I could not have zeros on the board. So I had to make sure I had 5 hits. I had to make sure I tried to fight every 3 or 4 games. I did not want the coach to call my number and pull me in the office and say, what are you contributing to this team? So I think for McMahon, tremendous speed, size. I'd like to see him get on the forecheck, and regardless of the goal scoring, add another element to the game too. Dakota Joshua, he's a guy that is going to earn his money in the playoffs, but, is that third line going to be on their heels? Right? We've seen Domi in the middle sometimes. They've gotten caught in their D-zone for extended period of times. Are they going to be net positive on the offensive side of the puck? That's a question mark for me as well. But again, the fourth line, Waugh, Lorentz, and Yankrook, that's pretty solid, right? So those are the main things. The flanks, can they step up and not be superheroes, but just play net even. Play net even for me, please.
I'm going to tell you that, I agree with your Bobby McMahon thing. If he could do that's sort of like putting a little cement around the bricks, and that makes the other transitions easier.
Yeah. And, a big hit every so often, turning the tide of the game. And there's been times with that speed, it's, you hear the roar of the crowd, like, and you want to see it every single night, right? And, again, I think the good thing about Craig Berube, he challenges his players. He's not afraid to get the most out of them.
We'll set you up for the opening face-off next. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, it's Joe Bowen. It's time to sell your car. What are you going to do? Sell it yourself online? Are you sure you want to deal with strangers and all the crazy offers? Dealerships? You're spending your weekend waiting around and negotiating. There's another option. I've heard people raving about it. It's called Clutch. They give you a real offer up front, locked in with no surprise fees. Then they come to your home, pick up your car, and pay you on the spot. So go to clutch.ca and see what your car's worth today.
At Conestoga Farms, our eggs are more than just eggs. They're a promise from local farmers to you.
Local is near and dear to my heart.
Local means fresh.
For our golden yolk eggs, we feed our hens a natural diet, including marigolds, a natural source of lutein, so the yolks are rich, golden, and full of nutrients.
There's a great sense of pride in being able to feed our own family a product that we've raised.
Feed your family like we feed ours with Conestoga Farms golden yolk eggs, because local matters.
Face Off Inside the NHL returns, taking you deeper behind the scenes than ever before. See it all from the star-studded Four Nations Face Off tournament.
Us against the world, boys.
To the adrenaline of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I'm scared of you guys.
With candid interviews and backstage access, experience the sacrifice, the rivalries, and the determination that define NHL greatness.
Just when I thought last year couldn't be topped, here we are.
A new season of Face Off Inside the NHL. Watch now only on Prime Video.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
The Prestons are a hockey family. Growing kids need food, and food needs a proper kitchen. I was sent by Alpine Credits to help with a home renovation loan. I introduced these young athletes to my superhero strength protein diet. Just consult your doctor before eating 300 eggs a day. Plenty of room in that new kitchen, though.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Well, here we go again. The Leafs home and season opener featuring the arch rival Montreal Canadiens. Leafs bolster their lineup by adding 2 ex-Habs on Monday. Will Blais play? Will Primo be a good number 2? Many other questions. Robertson with a great training camp. Cowan making a name for himself. And newcomers Waugh, Michelli, and Joshua making noise. Oh, what does it all mean? Well, let's find out. Chapter 1 now on Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Oh, yes, they do. Welcome inside Scotiabank Arena for the first time this season. Regular season action here on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. Jim Taddy, former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you. Joe Bowen and Jimmy Ralph standing by. So let's go through the starting lineup, Stu. It'll be Austin Matthews between Michelli and Nyes. Tavares centering Nylander and McMahon. Domi centering Robertson and Joshua. And Waugh centering Yarncroke and Lorentz. On the blue line, the pairings are as they were a year ago. Riley and Brandon Carlo, McCabe and Tanev, and Simon Benoit. Sorry, I haven't said it for a while. And OEL. In goal, Stolars will start. Caden Primo will be the backup. What do you make of all that?
Well, we did a full hour show, and I don't think we mentioned the defense once, right?
No,
so that's a positive.
That was one of the things I was going to mention. We haven't talked about him yet.
I know. That's great. And, again, there are some question marks up front, too. But, again, I'm excited to see Austin Matthews and a full year of him being healthy, too. Matthew Nyes, can he take the next step from his 29 goals and 58 points as well, too? But some of the new guys, I'm excited to see Dakota Joshua get back to how he was with the Vancouver Canucks 2 years ago, up in every play, getting in, crashing the net, scoring some big goals as well, too. And, how does Domi now make that adjustment to center? He's been doing it, off and on the last couple seasons as well. So, again, Nick Robertson drew into the lineup after a great preseason, seeing can he continue his offensive prowess. So, Right now, up top to bottom, I really like it. It's solid, not spectacular, especially in that middle and bottom six. But, again, this is the team now that is ready to take the next step. And with Austin Matthews and Tavares and Nylander and Nyes, I can see them carrying the mail and having this Maple Leafs team be solid for the first little bit of the season.
Well, since this is opening night, at about, 6 minutes from now, I'll be going to PA announcer Mike Ross, who will introduce the team for you. At the end of that, there'll be a tribute to the late Ken Dryden, and then we'll throw it a break and come back and start the proceedings with the game. So just want to alert everybody that we'll be throwing to Mike Ross at some point, maybe 5.5 minutes from now. The thing I like about this roster, Stu, is there really is onus on each individual and the collective to get this done, to find their way.
Yeah, and the one thing I want to get to the listeners right now is there are 85% of the teams in the National Hockey League that would love to have the problems the Maple Leafs do on the offensive end of the puck. John Tavares is a 40-goal scorer. Nylander's a 40-goal scorer. Austin Matthews is, regardless of what the rankings say, a top 4 player in the National Hockey League. So when you have those guys in the top echelon of your lineup, you are going to be on the offensive end of the puck. You're probably going to be more positive than negative. So it's us to analyze that. It's now, can these other guys keep up? Because to win the Stanley Cups, you need 4 solid lines. You saw what the Florida Panthers did last year with Luosterainen and Marchand, and they just dominated. So at times, that depth, it seems they've added to that. We'll see when Scotty Lawton comes back how this puzzle really, really fits. But
right.
This is a depthful lineup, a lineup that they've had a lot of depth. My son plays for Mikhail Grabowski, and I was looking at some of those lineups, at least for icing a couple of years ago. It's a great step in the right direction on the depth.
We call those the Frankie C years.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not signing here.
Frankie just went off the road.
Shout out Frankie C.
Goaltending, because we don't know the wall situation and we respect it. Obviously Caden Primo has an opportunity here, and if that doesn't work out, Hildeby, who had a really good training camp as well, is there.
Yeah, a bit of a rolling the dice on Primo, but he did have a great year in the minors with Laval. He was 21, 8-3, 926 save percentage, and he did struggle last year with the Montreal Canadiens. So he's young, 26, 27 years old, so hopefully he can rebound when called upon. But again, this is on to Stolarz now, and that's my question mark. Is that workload going to be a little bit heavy on his body? But again, they've rolled the dice and they've invested in him in signing him to the extension before the season started as well too. But say what you want, when Stolarz is healthy, he is a top 5-6 goalie in the National Hockey League, and he seems like he's going to hit the ground running for this Maple Leaf team.
Nobody would argue that. And the thing of it is, last year, Wall and Stolarz, and it seemed like they were both not healthy at the same time. One would go out, and then as the other one was coming back, the other guy would go out.
Yeah, it's tough, and it's tough for me to wrap my head around that, right? Because the best ability is availability, and I was playing with a sprained MCL, and I had summer finger, summer here, summer going that direction as well too. So, as a goaltender, you have to take care of your body. And again, there's nothing you can do about an elbow to the head of the playoffs. We understand that too. Yeah. But again, hopefully they, adjusted maybe some of their training, do a little bit more yoga, stretching, and get prepared, because there's a lot riding on it. And both of them, one or either of them out extended period of time, it could spell disaster for this group. That's the reality of it.
Again, I remind you of games 5 and 7 because you've conveniently forgot. That wasn't the goaltending. That was everybody.
Yes, it was here too, wasn't it?
Yeah, so both of them here.
Yeah, that's my hockey player kicking in. I don't remember what happened.
Short-term memory loss. Boom. Was there a game yesterday?
Yeah, and again, I do remember. There was 2-3 goals in a short period of time, turning pucks over, getting caught on transition, and again, sometimes the moment's a little bit overwhelming for the group. But what I liked. The games that they did lose, they threw the game away. But again, I don't think there was really too much emphasis on, we're going to stack lines or that. But I saw some elements of Craig Berube hockey, and I'm excited to see that these first couple games.
Well, what's interesting is, and I know it's opening night and everybody should be all pumped, but they were pumped for here in game 5 and 7 and left really deflated. The fact that the fan base seems to have pushed that to the side as well is nice.
Yeah, I saw some more jerseys purchased right now coming in, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard. The league is hard. And I remember being out there sometimes against the Red Wings, and I'm like, I don't deserve to be on the ice with Datsuk and Lidstrom. And as a player and a competitor, you should never admit that. But I remember being out there like, this is too hard. So not saying that that's for this group, but sometimes you have to dig through. But that's why there's guys like the Crosbys and the Ovechkins, regardless of how hard it gets, they rise to the occasion. But the one thing that I'd be positive and excited about the heartbreak sort of elevates you. So now another year of heartbreak for Tavares and Nylander and Matthews.
Well, it's better, yeah.
You know, I believe in my heart of hearts that they do care. I see them coming back and hitting the ground running and answering whatever questions, you know, anyone might have about their effort levels.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rossi's just going through the sort of the training staff. When he gets to the players, we'll join him. But I mean, that's the truth of it. This to me is like a new present, new parts, some familiar parts. It's the core trio now, not the core four. But it's a new mix. And we'll see where it goes, right?
Yeah, there's $20 million out there to get now. So, again, a lot of stuff to play for, if not anything financial.
At some point, yes. The pot at the end of the rainbow is much bigger now.
Yes, but it's a different group, and every year there's going to be turnover. But I'll tell you this, you know, fans are going to appreciate the game of Joshua and Waugh. And, again, regardless of the analytics, every night they're going to bring the effort. And that's why, you know, you see these banders with the Clarks and the Sundins and the, the Dougie Gilmores. They didn't win the Stanley Cup, but they left it out on the ice every single night, and you're going to see it for some of these new guys that they brought in.
Well, and that's the market we live in. You better empty the tank because that's what everybody's paying to see. Regular production out of the third and fourth line would be nice. Craig Berube just getting a nice hand there. Let's go to Mike Ross.
Number 60, Joseph Woll. Number 24, Scott Lawton. Number 51, Philip Myers. Number 53, Easton Cowan. Number 79, Sammy Blais. And number 83, Marshall Rafai.
Leafs Nation, our boys in blue are on the move and ready to hit the ice. Let's give our buds that warm welcome they deserve. Wear the towels as high as you can. Wave those towels as fast as you can. Make some noise!
Thanks, your 2025-2026 Toronto Maple Leafs. From Laval, Quebec, number 2, Simon Benoit. From Toronto, Ontario, number 8, Chris Tanev. From Toronto, Ontario, number 11, Max Domi. From Waterloo, Ontario, number 18, Steven Lorentz. From Gävle, Sweden, number 19, Kalle Järnkrok. From Eau Claire, Wisconsin, number 22, Jay McKay. From Phoenix, Arizona, number 23, Matthew Nye. From Colorado Springs, Colorado, number 25, Brandon Carlo. From Margate City, New Jersey, number 30, Caden Primo. From Jackson, New Jersey, number 41, Anthony Stolar. From Amos, Quebec, number 55, Nicholas Waugh. From Turku, Finland, number 63, Matthias Machelli. From Wainwright, Alberta, number 74, Bobby McMahon. From Dearborn, Michigan, number 81, Dakota Joshua. From Stockholm, Sweden, number 88, William Nylander. From Arcadia, California, number 89, Nick Robertson. From Tingsryd, Sweden, number 95, Oliver Ekman Larsson. From Vancouver, British Columbia, number 44, alternate captain, Morgan Riley. From Oakville, Ontario, number 91, alternate captain, John Tavares. And from Scottsdale, Arizona, number 34, your captain, Austin Matthews. Once again, let's hear it for your 2025-2026 Toronto Maple Leafs. Please welcome tonight's opponent, the Montreal Canadiens.
So the Montreal Canadiens taking the ice to a round of booze. This is fun, I'm going to say. Great, I guess, response to the Leafs leadership group, all their players. And we'll go back to Mike Ross for a few moments. Well, what they'll be doing is paying tribute to the death of Ken Dryden, and that's going to happen shortly.
On September 5th, Ken Dryden lost his battle with cancer at the age of 78. He was a Hall of Fame goalie, a lawyer, a politician, and an NHL executive. He has left a lasting impact that extends well beyond his goalie crease, profoundly influencing many areas of Canadian society. More than that, Ken was, above all, a family man. We now ask that you turn your attention to the video board as we remember the life of one of our game's greats.
Last month, a remarkable Canadian, Ken Dryden, passed away. In 1983, Ken was a Hall of Famer. In 2017, he was selected as one of the 100 greatest NHL players of all time. Only twice in his career did he not win the Stanley Cup. Between Cups 2 and 3, he graduated from McGill Law School. In 1972, he was in the net the night Canada defeated the Soviets in the greatest international hockey series ever played. He authored The Game, a work that sports writer Scott Young described as a book so rare that there is actually nothing to compare it to. He served as Canada's Minister of Social Justice. He fought to make our game better and safer for everyone to play. And in 1997, Ken Dryden was named president of your Toronto Maple Leafs. For 7 seasons, no one's applause rang louder in our arena than Ken's. Our game, our country, his family were everything to Ken. Will you please rise if you're able and join the Montreal Canadiens and Toronto Maple Leafs as we observe a moment of silence and honor the life of Ken Dryden.
Thank you.
The opening face-off is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Now through October 31st, SiriusXM is giving away a pair of tickets to every MLB postseason game through the World Series. Listen to MLB Network Radio for the clues to be the first caller to correctly name the postseason hero. You'll receive a pair of tickets to an MLB postseason game. MLB Network Radio has your chance to win on SiriusXM 89 in the SiriusXM app. No transportation will be included in connection with these prizes. For full contest information and official rules, visit SiriusXM.com/MLB postseason heroes 2025. No purchase necessary. Open only to current SiriusXM subscribers prior to September 19th. Just be a U.S. resident over the age of 18.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it!
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
This is a complete game.
We deliver the NHL.
With Jim Nill, the general manager of the Dallas Stars, what have you determined over the summer?
Cozy pretzel bun. From the first bite to the last bite, that bun, it's crispy, cozy.
Side magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
But the other thing that Connor McDavid has earned is he's earned a voice in what happens with the team. Where are you guys headed? What are you guys doing? I need to know, because he made it very clear in his comments, I want a chance to win and win again. That doesn't mean he gets final say. They need to listen to Connor McDavid. They need to express their views to Connor McDavid.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Nothing puts you closer to the action than SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
St. Louis Blues General Manager Doug Armstrong, Alex Steen, speak to where that's at, the succession plan, and
he is going to be the manager after this season. You have to know when your expiration date is with the group, and of course I think it was time to be honest with myself that the organization itself needed to change, and we're excited to have Alex ready to take over.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Well, here we go. The Toronto Maple Leafs opening the 25-26 season against the Montreal Canadiens. It has been a staple of either Montreal or Ottawa getting things underway. A lot of changes as far as the Leafs are concerned. There's no more core four. It's just the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I, for one, am overjoyed to hear that. But I welcome you along. 29 years?
28 or 29. Yeah. It doesn't matter. We'll do 29 more. My whole goal this year is to talk you out of something.
Oh, good. Well, we'll work on that. What do you think of the changes?
Well, we talked about it a little bit in the pregame show with Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart. You lost hockey IQ, hockey intelligence. One of the brightest minds in the league is out. But you got character. And that is what has been missing at times in the postseason. We'll see if that's the difference.
We're underway as it's cleared down into the Toronto zone, and Stolars will pump it along the boards and get it out into the center ice area. As it goes down into the Montreal zone, and quickly getting back to it is Mike Matheson. Matheson tied up in the corner, got it freed. There are knives back along the boards into the corner for Matthews. Far side, it comes in front of the net. McCabe! Oh, he was in position A, and a good save made by Sam Montembeault to start this game off as the Leafs get an excellent scoring chance right off the hop. Nylander wheeling away through center. He hits the Montreal line, but had it poked off his stick. Canadians trying to counterattack and in across the line. Newhook with a chance. That's blocked, and out come the Leafs quickly to Nylander. Right wing side, closing into the slot. Riley a shot, and Montembeault comes across, and the Leafs have had 2 grade A scoring chances already.
Well, in this last play after the turnover in the Leaf zone, what you really notice from here, Joe, is the speed of Bobby McMahon. Now, Nylander elects to go back higher in the slot to Morgan Riley, but Bobby McMahon give and go with Willie Nylander on the right wing boards, and McMahon down the middle of the ice goes right to the front of the net. And that was an option for Nylander. Instead, he tries to go back to Morgan Riley, and Montembeault with a big glove save to keep this game scoreless.
Tavares with Nylander and McMahon out there as Nylander gets a face-off win and sends the shot and scores! Holy mackerel, they've got it going already! And the Leafs with a 1-0 lead. McMahon in front of the net. Did he touch it? He may have.
We talked about the speed. There's also the opportunity for Bobby McMahon starting the season with Nylander and Tavares. Great job on the setup on the chance by Morgan Riley, and then right off the face-off, Bobby McMahon goes to the front of the net, and this is about knee-high, the wrist shot from the high slot, and McMahon tips it down and through the pads of Montembeault for the first goal of the season for the Leafs.
He had 20 a year ago and 34 points. He has the Leafs on the board here early, 1 minute into the season. Carrier in with a shot that deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Big hit in the corner then by Tanev. Back to the point it comes, and a long shot is into the glove of Stolarz. And there is some house cleaning being done by the Leafs in front of the Leaf netminder. Bobby McMahon tipping in that wrist shot. And the Leafs with an early 1-0 lead.
And you hope maybe with the experience and another year under his belt for Bobby McMahon that he could have. We always thought 2 years ago, Joe, it was a huge loss not having Bobby McMahon in the playoffs against Boston. And last year had moments in the playoffs, but just 3 assists in the 13 games. And you hope, like we saw the big jump with Matthew Nyes last year, we hope we get it with Bobby McMahon as well.
Benoit gets it ahead for Steven Lorenz, who gets the puck out at center, but it goes over the boards and into the Toronto bench.
Assisted by number 88, William Nylander. And number 91, John.
Nylander and Tavares will get the assists on the goal. John Tavares taking the hometown discount, wanting to finish his career in Toronto.
Seen a few of those in the last few months, haven't we?
No kidding.
But yeah, I think it speaks volume. And anybody that doesn't give the discount, whether you go to Vegas, whether you sign again in Minnesota, it's well within your right.
Absolutely.
However, the guys. Yeah.
Icing call coming here against
I thought
Montreal.
Connor McDavid's greatest quote was he said, "We're going to be okay. Financially, we're going to be okay."
I think he's probably going to be all right too.
So I mean, you know, every general manager would love to bring that reasoning. Look, you'll be okay if you take $8 million or $9 million.
Yes.
But I think it really speaks volumes of what a player's commitment is to the guys in his dressing room, and you know, you got to leave something for everybody else, right? And like I said, that's the player's choice whether you do it or not. I don't think you should be judged on it for looking after yourself first. But
Tavares line on again as they get it down into Montreal territory. Kirby Dach getting it up on the right wing boards, and a high pass goes down into the corner. Josh Anderson tracking it down. Anderson working it back to the point near side. Dobson with a shot, and that went wide of the Leaf goal. Puck from the side of the goal comes in front, and the Leafs are going to get clear of it, but not past the blue line. Good block there by Matheson to keep it in. Bad pass into the corner, though, as it comes back to Matheson. Matheson into the slot, back to Matheson again. Matheson at the top of the circle, works back towards the blue line. Long shot, pad save made by Stolarz. Canadians with good pressure here, trying to keep the puck alive. Back of the net for Slafkovsky. Slafkovsky getting it up on the wing, but Bobby McMahon poked it to the line, but still not out. Canadiens still with it. Matheson into the slot. Checked by Nylander, but it goes to the wing, and a pad save made by the Leafs, and they're going to finally get it out into center ice area. Canadiens trying to get a change going, too, as it's cleared back in. And it is McCabe getting it out at center as the Leafs forward was knocked down on the play, and McMahon goes to the bench now. Tanev, a bouncing puck into the slot area, came back out at center, and it's on the left wing side for Lane Hupson, who shoots it back into Toronto territory. Stolarz into the corner, just plays it out. Shot back in by Montreal, but from their side of center ice. And an icing call with 16:31 to go in the first period coming as a result.
Well, 2 years ago when Austin Matthews had a 69-goal season, he started it off with back-to-back hat-tricks. Home against Montreal and then home against the Minnesota Wild. And I don't know if you remember the Montreal game. The Leafs are actually down 2 goals with about 4 minutes left. Matthews scored both goals to tie it before the Leafs had come back and win it in a shootout.
Matthews wins this face-off. Pass into the slot area is knocked out at center ice past Benoit, but Oliver Ekman-Larsson is back to recover it. Benoit up ahead for Matthews. Matthews stick handles in over the line, but mishandles the puck. And the Canadiens regrouping and bringing it back and getting it down into the Toronto end. Leafs are making a change. Dakota Joshua over the boards as the puck comes through center. Played in over the line by Domi, but I guess he did not touch it. And an icing call coming against the Leafs as a result. Domi centering Dakota Joshua and Nick Robertson. Nick Robertson was one of the
bubble players
during the preseason, and he had an excellent preseason.
Yeah, I mean, preseason usually doesn't mean a lot for a lot of players, but I think the way Robertson stood out was the way of the Leafs saying, we've got to reward him, and it's not so much rewarding him, but giving yourself a better chance to win.
Here he is in with a wrist shot from well out that was handled by Montembeault.
Even the last game in Detroit, right? Very noticeable.
Very noticeable, yep. He's got all the skill in the world. He can score goals, and the whole idea is, can he be dependable defensively? Can he go through the trials and tribulations of a heavy game?
And there were the penalties as well that frustrated Craig Berube and Sheldon Keefe before that, right? Those unnecessary hooks and trips in the offensive zone.
Yeah, he's got to be smarter with his stick. But he's a talented individual. Domi to take the face-off against his numerical counterpart in Brendan Gallagher. And Gallagher won that cleanly. Canadiens have set it high through center ice. Knocked down by the Leaf defense. Played ahead for Domi in neutral ice and quickly to Robertson on left wing. Morgan Riley jumping into the rush. And the shot was deflected by Kirby Dach wide of the goal. Gallagher comes back at center to shoot it in. Stolarz out of the cage to play it into the corner to Morgan Riley. Pass up on the right side for Robertson. Robertson skates through neutral ice. Going to launch it high into the near corner and head to the bench for a change.
That's just a
Fourth
small
line
thing.
over the boards for Toronto.
Small thing, Joe, but Anthony Stolarz playing the puck behind the net. Stopped it, fires it up to Morgan Riley, get the puck out.
Back across the line for Lorenz, who gets it in deep into the Montreal zone. 1-0 Toronto on an early goal by Bobby McMahon. Puck down into the Toronto end. Tanev being hooked onto. Could have been a penalty there. And in fact, I think there is one coming. And then Nicholas Roy got bumped into, and he reciprocated in kind. I don't think that will draw a penalty.
I think it might have been Patrick Laine, too, that little bump late.
92 Montreal, 2 minutes for hooking.
Patrick Laine, I don't think is going to want that matchup as he heads to the penalty box. This was still, the hook was into the hands of Tanev briefly. And that's going to be enough to cost, we talk about taking dumb penalties. The offensive zone, that's one there.
Maple Leaf Power Play brought to you by Subaru. This fall, uncommon comes standard. Leafs on the power play. A year ago, They were 54 of 218, ninth best in the National Hockey League. It's cleared to the line. Riley unable to keep it in. Out at center ice comes Josh Anderson trying to get around Matthews. Anderson with a backhand, and that will force Stolarz into a save and a stoppage of play in the Toronto end. The experiment with 5 forwards a year ago that had its moments, both good and bad.
That's funny. I saw the stat where the Leafs' percentage of goals from defensemen was the lowest in the NHL last year. And you go, well, part of that is they had 5 forwards in the power play, right?
You don't have power play time. How are you going to have success? And now a turnover, though. Here's Oliver Kapanen in with a shot, and he scores! A turnover on neutral ice. And the Montreal Canadiens have tied the game on a shorthanded goal.
Kind of a lackadaisical pass up the left wing boards. It was turned over and everybody gets caught. And Kapanen down the right wing fires it far side on Anthony Stolarz to give the Montreal Canadiens a 1-1 tie now. Kapanen did not have a goal last season in his 18 games playing with the Canadiens. Just 2 assists, and I believe that is number 1
his career.
Of his career.
Well, it's a shorty, and it's going to be unassisted. So here's the Leafs bringing it in over the line. Machelli gets a shot away, and it's going to be gloved by Montembeault. And play will be stopped with a face-off coming in the Montreal zone.
So it's the good jump of the Leafs right off the bat from their second line to get on the board. And then, boy, what a way to start your first power play of the year. Cough up a shorthanded goal to the Canadiens.
Domi along with McMahon and Machelli. And Robertson, as it is set out and down the ice by the Canadiens. Oliver Ekman-Larsson goes back to recover the puck. Minute 5 to go in the power play. Another turnover at the blue line, but Machelli will find an avenue and get it in across the line. A cross-ice pass far side. McKay, a shot whistled just wide of the net. And it was sent out and down the ice. Machelli turning back up ice for Toronto. Had it turned over, got it back again, lost it again, and the Canadiens are breaking in on the right side, and a wrist shot by Newhook went high and wide.
Well, he was going for the same spot as Kapanen, wasn't he? Locker side over the shoulder.
Leafs guilty of turning the puck over in their entry into the offensive zone as Nylander tries to skate it through, but that is turned over. Canadiens have it now, and they're going to send it out and down the ice, and the first power play of the season is going to turn into a negative force. Leafs to center. Ahead off Nylander and into the right wing corner for Nyes. Back of the net for Matthews. Nyes along the near boards trying to dig it free and can't. Cooley for the Canadiens gets it out. Penalty is over. And now a turnover again, and another shot is gloved by Stolarz off the stick of Nick Suzuki. And the Leafs have been guilty of coughing the puck up and really...
Yeah, this time from, Jake McCabe.
Contested, turnovers.
This was Jake McCabe just kind of lobbing it on the backhand through the middle of the ice, and it almost cost them again.
So it is a 1-1 tie here in the first period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Want to hear something scary? Spirits are swirling in the SiriusXM app with creepy Halloween treats. Countdown haunted hits on the Freaky 50. Howl at the moon with wicked rock specials. Spell on you. And unearth more monstrous fun all month long. Then you can monster mash. Just search Halloween on the SiriusXM app if you dare.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on SiriusXM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
But the other thing that Connor McDavid has earned is he's earned a voice in what happens with the team. Where are you guys headed? What are you guys doing? I need to know, because he made it very clear in his comments, I want a chance to win and win again. That doesn't mean he gets final say. They need to listen to Connor McDavid, and they need to express their views to Connor McDavid.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Everywhere you want it.
Joe Bone and Jim Ralph with you. 12:43 to play in period number 1. And both teams are on the board. 1-1 tie. Draw scrummed in the Toronto zone, controlled by the Maple Leafs. Skated to center and then just slid into Montreal territory. Hustling in on the forecheck is Nicholas Roy. Roy against the boards, dug it out for Lorenz, back to the point. Shot coming in traffic, and Lorenz in front of the net had it bounce away from him, and he couldn't get a shot away. Calle Yarncrook is on this line as well. Puck comes up on the wing, and the Canadiens are breaking it out at center. Pass off on the wing from Lane Hudson, who jumps into the rush. Onto the right wing side, a shot was deflected over top of the Leaf goal. It came out in front and comes back to the point. Carrier goes D to D and gets it in along the far boards. Slid around back of the net for Caulfield. Caulfield to the near corner. Canadiens back to the point. Carrier goes to the left wing side. Trying to work along the boards is Arbor Jacki. Jacki back into the slot off the wing. A shot that was blocked by Lorenz, who gets up slowly but heads to the bench, and the Leafs are getting a change in. Played back of the Toronto goal, just out of the reach of Benoit, but it's gone off his stick and gone into the screen and out of play. And a face-off will come in the Toronto zone as a result.
To the great start and the goal by Bobby McMahon to put the Leafs up 1-0 early. We've seen a lot of, what would you call it, tentative plays defensively.
Yep.
It's kind of unsure. Make plays to get the puck out of their own zone, and the Canadiens have counterpunched and taken advantage. Then Arbor Jacki getting room to sift around in the Leaf zone, and that shot caught Stephen Lorenz.
Pass up on the wing, stolen. Carrier stepped in with a shot but couldn't get it on net. And the Leafs are going to launch it out into the left wing side. Dakota Joshua looked like he had a chance to break out on the left wing, but the pass was behind him, and that turned another turnover into a shot on goal. 11:14 to play, period number 1. McMahon for the Maple Leafs and Oliver Kapanen for Montreal.
The Leafs 3-1 against the Canadiens last season in the 4 games played. Overall, the Leafs have won 8 of their last 9 against the Canadiens.
I think 10 games
10,
at home.
10 in a row at home.
10 in a row at home. Leafs play it down into Montreal territory. Played around the boards by Matheson. Pinching is Riley. He gets it around back of the net. Matheson reversing the puck adroitly to get it up on the wing and gets it out into the center ice area. Riley ties up his man. The puck sent into the slot but picked off. Brought out quickly at center ice by Toronto. Sent down into the left wing corner. Michelli doesn't get there. Comes back on the wing to Riley. Riley with a shot in traffic that doesn't make it through. McCabe one-hands it into the corner, but it's cut off by Noah Dobson. And the Canadian gets it down into the Toronto zone. Matthews dropping it off, heading to the bench. Brought out by McCabe to center. Fired in around the boards to the far side. Tavares gets it around back of the net, trying to come out in front. Backhanded it towards the goal. Another opportunity at the side of the net by Nylander. Couldn't get the shot away. McCabe keeping it in. Willie's pass is off a stick, though, and it's come out into the center ice area. McCabe stretching things out as he backpedals into the Toronto zone. Half the first period in the books. 1-0 for the Leafs, and then a shorthanded goal by Montreal. We're deadlocked at a goal apiece. Laine slides in on the right side, rings the puck around the boards to the far side to the left point, into the slot area for Hudson. Hudson to the far side for Laine and back to the blue line. That got off Laine and into the corner. Leafs play it along the boards, grabbed by Tavares. Tavares finds his defenseman, and it'll be Benoit getting it to center before it's cleared in over the line by Nylander. Canadiens back in their own zone. Fourth line out for Toronto. Roy, along with Yarncrook and Lorenz. Played off the glass by goaltender Stolars. Lorenz fighting for possession on the near boards. Comes back to the point. Hudson shot deflected wide. And Lorenz with it in the far corner now. Trying to find Yarncrook, who couldn't come up with it. Grabbed off finally by Roy. And he muscles his way to center to get it out. Played down into the Montreal zone. Roy with a hit there on Jacky. Puck goes back to the net to the far point. Jacky and Roy pushing and shoving as they go to the front of the net. And the puck comes out into center ice territory. That would be an interesting confrontation. Those are two rather large lads. Canadiens shoot it back into the Toronto zone. Pumped along the boards on a sharp angle shot. Doesn't reach the front of the net. Now it does! Down is Stolar swimming, and he has managed to find it with his left hand.
Well, the Canadiens do a good job sealing the boards off. Leafs try to ring it out on the right wing side. It's kept in, thrown to the front of the net. And Stolars has to come up with a couple of huge stops from the top of the crease. Belly down to cover it up.
8:13 to play first period. Leafs won, the Canadiens won. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Hey, it's Joe Bowen. It's time to sell your car. What are you going to do? Sell it yourself online? Are you sure you want to deal with strangers and all the crazy offers? Dealerships? You're spending your weekend waiting around and negotiating. There's another option. I've heard people raving about it. It's called Clutch. They give you a real offer up front, locked in with no surprise fees. Then they come to your home, pick up your car, and pay you on the spot. So go to clutch.ca and see what your car's worth today.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around. In the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation, Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in, it matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
At Conestoga Farms, our eggs are more than just eggs. They're a promise from local farmers to you.
Local is near and dear to my heart.
Local means fresh.
For our golden yolk eggs, we feed our hens a natural diet, including marigolds, a natural source of lutein, so the yolks are rich, golden, and full of nutrients.
There's a great sense of pride in being able to feed our own family a product that we've raised.
Feed your family like we feed ours with Conestoga Farms golden yolk eggs, because local matters.
Maple Leafs have announced the following additions to the Hockey Operations Department. Stephen Reinprecht and Eric Lacroix have joined the organization as pro scouts. Mikhail Kotkaniemi has joined the organization as a European amateur scout. And Mark Giordano has joined the Toronto Marlies as a coaching advisor.
Pretty cool if you're a young defenseman to have that as an advisor, coach.
Yep. Played across the line but offside at the Montreal blue line, so they will bring it back into neutral ice. 8:05 to play in the first period. Bobby McMahon from Nylander and Tavares at the 1 minute mark, but a shorthanded goal by Oliver Kapanen at 5:39, and the game is tied 1-1. Leafs get it off a stick but not into the zone. Brought back the other way. Joshua trying to get to it, but it's cleared into the Toronto end, and Max Domi sends it back for Joshua on the left wing boards. He has difficulties, but gets it out at center. Robertson nudges his man, and Domi gets it in over the line, going to the net. Shot stopped and gloved by Montembeault. That was a bit of a strange turnover in neutral ice. Robertson got the puck free, and Domi was in right from the face-off dot. And a good glove save made by Montembeault.
I think you like that, though, from Max Domi. You have the option to pass off, but the defenseman does a pretty good job taking that lane away. So Domi tries to go glove side, far side past Montembeault. And when you look at Max Domi's numbers, most goals he scored in a season, 28, and that was in Montreal.
Yep.
Hasn't come close to that
Played
number
up on
since.
the wing. Gallagher to center with a pass, knocked down. It's a delayed offside at the Toronto blue line. That is no longer delayed. It is offside. So they haven't changed that rule, which is good.
No. They've had that for at least 40-some years.
Yeah, I think so, anyway.
But I was amazed that October 6th, and I saw the post that was the anniversary of your first game of the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
Chicago Stadium, 3-3 tie between the Leafs and the Blackhawks. Boreas Solomon with the game-tying goal in the third period. And I know because I was there. And the next day, you and I both left Chicago.
And went in different directions?
Yes. Well, I went to Denver. I think you went back to Toronto.
Yeah,
We got another penalty, and this could be the Canadiens again.
Might be.
Or is it the Leafs?
No, it's a high stick. And it looks like it's going against Toronto. And is it Bobby McMahon coming?
Willie Nylander.
No, Willie Nylander coming to
Shot
the
number 88, has a minor penalty for high sticking.
So Nylander goes to the penalty box. And Montreal gets their first power play opportunity of the season. The Leafs gave up 52 goals on 235 times shorthanded last year. 77.9% and 19th in the National Hockey League as a result. Canadiens win the draw. Back to the blue line is Hudson into the slot area. A pass down into the corner, comes back up in the wing for Slafkovsky to Hudson. Hudson walks the line. Stutters to the left wing side. Down into the corner on the far side, but played back of the net. Suzuki misfires on it. And the Leafs are quick to pounce on it and send it out and down the ice. And wholesale changes for the penalty killers comes as a result. Zachary Bolduc out on the power play here. As it's brought in across the line by Caulfield. The Leafs clear it to the line and get it out at center. And now brought to the line and in. And trying to rag the puck along the boards and kill off some time was the Maple Leafs' Nicholas Roy, but he had it knocked off his stick. But the puck is down in the Montreal zone. Hudson dropping it back. Caulfield hits the line on the right wing side. Slafkovsky dropping it into the slot. Hudson on the left wing side, and a shot. That is blocked, but it's taken a bite out of the Leaf defender. And now into the corner it goes. Brandon Carlo having difficulties getting up. Good poke check made there by the Leafs netminder. Another shot goes wide, and it's gone up into the screen. And Brandon Carlo is in some difficulty as he heads to the Toronto bench. The Leafs have already had one block shot, cost them a player.
Yeah, it was Scott Lawton, and this seemed to get Brandon Carlo on the instep. Boy, welcome to game 1 of 82.
Face-off will be in the circle to the right. 46 seconds left to go on the power play. McCabe and Tanev get it around the boards, and the Leafs get a change in the angle and fire it out and down the ice. Back come Montreal. Drop pass from Dobson. But it goes all the way back behind his goal, and the Canadiens have 25 seconds left in the power play. And they'll drop it off, and here's Doc in across the line on the left wing side for Laine. Back to the blue line. It comes for Dobson. Into the slot area. Gallagher, a tip pass. Right wing side. Demidov giving it along on the near boards. Demidov still with it, trying to center. He did, and it was fanned on. Far side Laine with a shot that was blocked. Penalty expires. Laine with the puck in the far corner. Laine being challenged there by Tanev. Laine comes away with the loose puck, but his pass goes off Tanev's stick and comes to center ice. And the Leafs are going to get it under control and get a change of players going, and a pretty good job of penalty killing with a couple of important block shots. Under 5 minutes to play in the period. Long shooting deflects into the Montreal end. Puck along the near boards with Nyes trying to come up with it. Michelli forces it back behind the goal. A reverse play comes up on the near wing. Morgan Rielly couldn't keep it in. Has to try and track it down in neutral ice and does. Now to Nyes. Nyes' pass went off a skate. Nyes recovers it in center ice. Has to go off another skate. Michelli can't help him out. Against the boards on the near side. Canadians just do get it in over the line. Morgan Rielly fighting for possession, and it's stolen. A lead pass. Michelli, one man to beat, but can't get around him. And it's at the blue line and cleared back into Montreal territory. One tie, the Leafs and the Canadiens. Habs start out with a pass up the middle. Onto the right wing side for Caulfield, and he whistled a shot wide. Big rebound is pushed out at center for Bobby McMahon. McMahon driving. McMahon rolls it through the slot area, but no one home. Canadians launch it high to center ice. Get some help there on a bounce to Nick Suzuki. And then a good bit of back-checking by Willie Nylander turns the puck over. McMahon down the right wing, driving the net, but can't get to the front of the goal as the puck goes back of the net. Back to the point to McCabe. Far side Tanev. Returns to McCabe. Shot coming. And it's swallowed up by Montembeault. The seventh shot on goal by the Maple Leafs in the period.
Now John Tavares there in front, but not able to get enough of a screen. Doesn't get a stick on it, or that might have given Montembeault a little more trouble than it did.
A 1-1 tie, the Leafs and the Canadiens. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Catch every MLB postseason game on Sirius XM.
The scenario you dream about, Freddie is living.
Where a swing can transform the fortunes of a franchise.
High fly ball, hit deep, back, and go!
Hear the hometown announcers call all the action.
Freddie Freeman channeling his inner Kirk Gibson.
The MLB postseason is on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
But the other thing that Connor McDavid has earned is he's earned a voice in what happens with the team. Where are you guys headed? What are you guys doing? I need to know, because he made it very clear in his comments, I want a chance to win and win again. That doesn't mean he gets final say. They need to listen to Connor McDavid. They need to express their views to Connor McDavid.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
1-1 tie, the Leafs and the Canadiens with 3:23 left to play. The Leafs' next action is Saturday in Detroit. Wouldn't that be neat if it was a precursor to the baseball playoff?
Oh, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
I'd love to see a Tiger Blue Jays series.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Draw one by the Leafs, and a quick shot taken by Matthews was blocked. Canadians get it out at center and will shoot it in. Stolar slows it up but gave the puck away, and now around back of the net. It comes in front. Oh, and he makes a great shoulder save in an emergency move. Brandon Carlo back into the game. That's good news. Long lead pass. Deflects in off Matthew Nyes. Nyes into the forecheck. Matthews down the boards. Got it freed up for him. Nyes trying to find an outlet. Trying to push it along the wall. Getting some help from Benoit. Simone Benoit now engages along the boards. Puck still there. Cleared high into the area back of the Canadiens' goal and quickly sent around to the other side and out. Matthews finds Benoit. Benoit shoots it in. Montembeault will leave it back of the net. Off the stick of Robertson. Puck in the near corner, and the Canadiens get it out at center. Backhanded down into the Toronto end. And we've got a high stick making contact with it in 2 minutes, 16 seconds to play. Period number one. The Leafs won. The Canadiens won.
I don't think Craig Berube's too thrilled with the first line so far. We saw in that last face-off that Willie Nylander out with Matthew Nyes and Austin Matthews. They really haven't had a lot of offensive zone time, have they? I know we're only 18 minutes into the season.
Draw to the left of Stolarz is won by the Canadiens. Hudson walking the line, got a weak wrist shot through, but Stolarz was able to take that and make sure there was no rebound. And a face-off coming in the circle to the left. The Canadiens had a wonderful season last year. They were not counted on to make the playoffs, but they did. And now the expectations are growing.
Yeah, and we certainly went through that 8-9 years ago. And then it's more than just getting in again.
Yep.
It's winning a couple of rounds. The Ottawa Senators are in the same boat.
Puck in over the line. Robertson couldn't get to it. Hudson sends it off to his defense partner. Then a turnover, but it had come outside the blue line. Max Domi was trapped inside. So the play is offside with a minute 57 to go in the first period.
Canadiens out shooting the Leafs by a count of 11-7. Anyway, some of the questions for Montreal as well. Patrick Laine, who they've got as a third, fourth line guy in the second power play unit. Pretty impressive to have 20 goals last year in 52 games for the Canadiens. But 15 of the 20 were on the power play. Fourth most in the league in power play goals,
but he wasn't a plus player.
No.
Left wing side, Lorenz sends it into the right wing corner. Yarncrook got there but couldn't come up with it. It comes into the slot area, but the Canadiens are there to clear and get it out at center ice. And now Roy gets it up on the left wing, and Simone Benoit will send it down into the zone. Simone Benoit's got a few francophones to chat with now, and I'm sure the Montreal media is pretty excited about having a lot of francophones on the Toronto roster.
Yeah, and even, through the last few years, they have not, Stefan Robidas, who's now an assistant coach of the Canadiens.
Yep.
Finished his career with the Leafs. But yeah, there's not a lot over the last few years.
No, I was looking at that and I thought, do we have more than the Canadiens have in their roster? But no, we don't. Played off the boards to center. Grabbed back by the Leafs. Played in over the line and chopped around back of the net by Nyes. Michelli couldn't get it initially, and then when he did, his centering pass for Matthews was intercepted, and the Canadiens get to center ice and shoot it in. Minute 6 to go in the period. Caulfield overskated the puck, and Matthews starts out. Austin Matthews to center with a left wing feed for Nyes. Nyes rubbed out of the play there on a good hit by Noah Dobson. Puck in the end boards, though. Michelli trying to dig it free. Does to Nyes. Centering effort, hit a leg. Comes back to the point, kept in by Toronto. Carlo sends it around back of the net. Grabbed by Nyes. A behind the back pass looking in front for Matthews was cut off. Canadiens will send it high and out and down the ice. And Carlo goes back to recover the puck. Pass for Morgan Rielly. Riley's deflected pass. Intercepted by Gallagher. Gallagher got into the slot, but then had it taken away, and the Leafs get it out into neutral ice. Looked like it might be a dangerous turnover, but Gallagher never did get a shot at the net. Now he has it again in on the left wing. The veteran is spun around on the play to allow Tavares access, and John Tavares with just 7 seconds left comes to center ice. Got it across the line into the slot. Rielly! Oh, what a glorious chance! Just as play ends.
Great pass coming over the line. Tavares dumps it to the right wing side to Nylander, who quickly finds Riley. Coming down the middle of the ice, Riley actually makes a great move, a little toe drag to get it around the defenseman, but looks like he just airmails it over the left shoulder of Montembeault, and the Leafs are going to have to settle for a 1-1 tie after one.
McMahon for the Maple Leafs, Kapanen for Montreal. It's 1-1 after 20 minutes. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The NHL on Sirius XM. Just hits different.
Oh! Wilson crushed Zadorov.
Every big goal.
It's a power play goal.
Every crucial save.
Sergei Bobrovsky displaying acrobatics.
All with a little home cooking with the hometown announcers on the Sirius XM app.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the best player on earth.
And we're discussing the daily drama on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
But the other thing that Connor McDavid has earned is he's earned a voice in what happens with the team. Where are you guys headed? What are you guys doing? I need to know, because he made it very clear in his comments, I want a chance to win and win again. That doesn't mean he gets final say. They need to listen to Connor McDavid, and they need to express their views to Connor McDavid.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Nothing puts you closer to the action than Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
St. Louis Blues general manager Doug Armstrong, Alex Steen, speak to where that's at, the succession plan. And
he is going to be the manager after this season. You have to know when your expiration date is with the group, and I think it was time to be honest with myself that the organization itself needed to change, and we're excited to have Alex ready to take over.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91. We deliver the NHL.
Head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, Rod Brind'Amour. What's the mental approach to get to the dance?
Every year you start at the same spot as every team, right? Like you're at the bottom of the mountain. And when we get to that point, if we can, then we can knock down the final kind of stretch highway we haven't been able to cover. So let's make the best out of every day and play our ass off every night and see what happens.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91. We deliver the NHL.
With Jim Nill, the general manager of the Dallas Stars, what have you determined over the summer that seems to be missing over the last 3 years?
It's not easy to win in the playoffs. Really, it's just finding a way to punch through. You maybe get a little bit lucky. Had to go through a lot of adversity, but that's what you have to do, and that's kind of a message to my team is, you've gone through adversity over these last 2-3 years, and you just have to keep at it.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Then 1050, everywhere you want it. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Tavares with Nylander and McMahon out there as Nylander gets a face-off win and sets the shot and scores! Holy mackerel, they got it going already! And the Leafs with a 1-0 lead. McMahon in front of the net. Did he touch it? He may have.
Oh, yes, he did. 1-0 at that point. 1-1 after 20 minutes of play. Welcome to Montreal Canadiens Leafs hockey back here at Scotiabank Arena. TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. So tied at 1 after 20 minutes of play. After 20 is brought to you by Subaru. This fall, uncommon comes standard. Jim Taddy, former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you. Stu, that was just a really robust start, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It started off pretty good with a goal 1 minute into the game. Great tip by Bobby McMahon with an off a face-off from John Tavares, and great shot by William Nylander. But, I think we're seeing sort of the byproduct of what happens when you don't get your repetitions in preseason in games, right?
Yeah,
and a lot of bobbling, a lot of timing was off. I'm sure we'll discuss a little bit more in detail sort of on the power play, on the entries, or just sort of turning pucks over. So if I'm Craig Berube, he's quick to get his message across. Hey, we got to manage the puck a little bit better, because especially against a team like Montreal Canadiens, very, very quick in transition. You saw Kapanen on the shorthanded goal there. He's got a lot of speed. They have some speedsters up there. A little bit more better puck management going into the second period is the goal if I'm Craig Berube and co.
So we have the game sheet in front of us, and I'm going to refer to that and defer to it. 4 giveaways for the Leafs. I had easily twice as many, and the Habs had 6 giveaways, which, obviously was a sloppy first period of a regular season, but I don't know how the Leafs only had 4 giveaways.
Well, they might be able to fool us if we're watching this off a screen, but we are live and direct watching this from up top. And,
we're live at Scotiabank Arena.
Big Brother sees everything, and I think I counted 3-4 in one shift, right? So I'm sure they'll make some adjustments on that.
Might be an audit.
But again, when you don't get those touches, I loved playing 6 preseason games. I'd play 4 or 5 minimum. Because again, you got to get used to it's as another step into regular season. So you got to get as much repetition as possible just to get those touches. And they just look a little bit lackadaisical on that. But the one thing I'll notice that they did get right was probably the hits. They did have 12 that period. I saw Waugh get in there. Same thing with Joshua Nyes is credited with 2. So from that department, transporting the puck and getting it below the dots and getting that hitting, if they finish with 40, 50 hits, I think they're going to be in good shape going forward.
I think, with the departure of number 16, you're going to focus on a number of things. I would have focused on the power play and the penalty kill, the special teams, because these are things that he really made a contribution to, the 100 points aside. And so, how do you reconfigure that power play? Because, quite frankly, for years, they wanted to sort of get away from Morgan Rielly.
Yeah, and call me old school, but, again, I'm not a big fan of the kickback. Right?
No.
Especially when you have some horses that can get in and turn pucks over. Say what you want about Matthews and Nylander. They can go and cause separation with their bodies. They have amazing sticks. We know Nyes can get in there and rattle the glass. I would like to sort of see a little chip into support there and outnumber guys and win some puck battles. So the kickback's going to be a little bit tough because guys aren't coming with as much speed, right? Nylander's sort of got that swagger, and he's sort of coming in like a snake, inside, outside, where guys like Marner, he'd be a little bit more direct. So I don't think they have the defense that can really transport it in between the Blues. So, again, when in doubt, just get those pucks deep. I know it's old school, but, again, they have the ability to turn the game around with the size. They're the heaviest team in the league, and I think they need to use that a little bit more in getting that puck advancing across the blue line as opposed to kicking it back and playing that east-west type game.
So, just so I understand, kickback, is that the neutral zone drop pass?
Yes.
Okay, let me write this down. Stu, not a fan, joining a long list of people.
Yeah,
a long list.
Yeah.
Well, and, we don't criticize the blue line because it's pretty darn good. But the one missing piece is the guy with the breakout speed. That's the only really negligence on that blue line, isn't it?
Why can't they draft Elaine Hudson, right? Like, right, and you look away, and then that's where, again, that's how important it is to, invest in your scouting department and find some of the diamonds in the rough. And, Elaine Hudson wasn't a lottery pick. He was a second-round draft pick, right? So, you're looking at guys like Lacombe. He was a second-rounder as well, too. So, again, some of those guys aren't homegrown, and it's really, really tough to trade for a guy like that, too. But, again, Nylander, Matthews, even Tavares, they can get if they really put their mind into it and focus on it, blue line to blue line, they can get that puck in.
Yeah, so I mean that's an early.
It's more of a will than a skill.
It's an early season growing pain, and as you say, the A lineup wasn't in a lot of the preseason games, so it's going to be a little slow at the start, but it'll get there.
It will, but I think we can hear Craig Berube from up here. He's letting them know about it. But they adjust pretty well, so I'm interested to see what they do in the second period. But if I'm them, you know what, maybe fake the kickback, hit Nyes on the flank there. He's really great at protecting the puck, and he can chip and retrieve. It's one thing just to dump and chase for the sake of doing it. They have some horses there that can really get that puck back and get back onto offense.
And I think you would agree with me. In the first 20 minutes, there was energy lapses on both sides. Obviously, the Leafs started well, and after sort of the buzz wore off of starting another season, the Habs got into the game, and the Leafs faded out a bit, and then it was back and forth that way.
Yes, I had to get up and get a shot of espresso, right? They got the espresso machine up there. No, that was a slice of pizza.
The S-Guy espresso machine.
Yeah. But it's the beginning of the season. And again, you're not making excuses. But again, I was a guy. That's why I drank 2 Red Bulls. I drank 2 Red Bulls before every game because I did not have the luxury to be like, hey, you know what, I'm going to take 5 games to work into. My NHL career was dependent on shift by shift. So, again, I know some of these guys do have a lot to play for, but give them a little bit of time before we judge exactly where this team is at a group.
It's only 20 minutes in. Yeah. The start was noticeable, and so was Anthony Stollart's in goal.
Yeah, he made some big saves, and again, he looks. You can tell he's dialed in when he's looking big in his crease, and he's just sitting there waiting for that puck to almost hit him. He's not sprawling. He's not on his stomach. We were worried about second, third opportunities. He does a great job fronting the puck, putting the rebounds into the corner, but he's been the first star so far through 20 minutes for this Maple Leafs team.
I was interested to watch Nick Robertson played 3:52 in that period. There was a play going in, down the left side into the Montreal zone where he actually got off a pretty good shot, used the defenseman as a screen when it looked like there was nothing there.
Confidence. That's a confidence play, right? And typically in years past or players in his position, what would they do? They would just chip it or throw a muffin on that. He did a great job of sort of creating separation inside, outside, waiting for the defender to open up his leg, drag and shot, and actually that was a decent scoring chance.
It was.
So, I'm just excited to see him continue to grow and continue to make plays and be a positive contributor to this Maple Leafs team.
It's 1-1 after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
At Conestoga Farms, our eggs are more than just eggs. They're a promise from local farmers to you.
Local is near and dear to my heart.
Local means fresh.
For our golden yolk eggs, we feed our hens a natural diet, including marigolds, a natural source of lutein, so the yolks are rich, golden, and full of nutrients.
There's a great sense of pride in being able to feed our own family a product that we've raised.
Feed your family like we feed ours with Conestoga Farms golden yolk eggs, because local matters.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around. In the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation, Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in, it matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Ron is a teacher helping bright minds, but this time he needed help. Alpine Credit sent a cosmic superhero with a debt consolidation loan. She conjured a magic book, Debt Consolidation 101. Lesson 1, consolidate debt into one low monthly payment. Lesson 2, nothing. It's a short book. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
With most Subaru models, all-wheel drive comes standard. Heated front seats, high ground clearance, Apple CarPlay, standard. EyeSight driver assist to help when you're distracted by fall foliage, standard. Guy announcing the radio ad now wanting a Subaru? Yeah, standard. Subaru. Uncommon comes standard. Hurry into your local Subaru dealership today for lease rates from 1.99% for 24 months on select models and get great value that, you guessed it, comes standard. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Hey, seriously, can I get one?
Dreaming of Mexico's best beaches? Whether it's the Riviera Maya, Cancun, or Los Cabos, your perfect all-inclusive escape is waiting at Sandos Hotels. Enjoy crystal clear waters, white sand shores, gourmet dining, and unforgettable moments for families and couples alike. From jungle adventures to oceanfront relaxation, there's a paradise for everyone. Book your next beach getaway today at sandos.com.
Face Off Inside the NHL returns, taking you deeper behind the scenes than ever before. See it all from the star-studded Four Nations Face Off tournament.
Us against the world, boys.
To the adrenaline of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I'm scared of you guys.
With candid interviews and backstage access, experience the sacrifice, the rivalries, and the determination that define NHL greatness.
Just when I thought last year couldn't be topped, here we are.
A new season of Face Off Inside the NHL. Watch now only on Prime Video.
The Out of Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go out of town for a great new Tundra or Tacoma. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. Believe it or not, 4 games in the second night of NHL regular season play, and the 2 goals scored here are the only 2 that have been scored so far. In Washington, end of the first period, Boston is there. It's scoreless at 10 o'clock tonight. It'll be the Kings visiting the Golden Knights. Number 16, he's down 93. Actually makes his debut for the Golden Knights. And, of course, Eichel signed today for 8 years and an average of $13.5 million. Also later on tonight at 10 o'clock, it'll be the Flames visiting the Edmonton Oilers. In our game, it's tied at 1 after 20 minutes of play. And, yes, Guy, the second period is next. How did you know? This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1015, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Your home for the biggest stories in the league is Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Hi, this is Bob Popper from Airing It Out. The International Series continues in Week 6 with the Broncos and Jets in London. We discuss the early season surprises. Plus, we get you ready for a potential Super Bowl preview with the Lions and Chiefs on Sunday Night Football.
Throwing Enzo caught. Touchdown Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
But the other thing that Connor McDavid has earned is he's earned a voice in what happens with the team. Where are you guys headed? What are you guys doing? I need to know, because he made it very clear in his comments, I want a chance to win and win again. That doesn't mean he gets final say. They need to listen to Connor McDavid. They need to express their views to Connor McDavid.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Nothing puts you closer to the action than Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
St. Louis Blues General Manager Doug Armstrong, Alex Steen, speak to where that's at, the succession plan. And
he is going to be the manager after this season. You have to know when your expiration date is with the group, and I think it was time to be honest with myself that the organization itself needed to change, and we're excited to have Alex ready to take over.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
MLS, NWSL, the USL, and more covering the beautiful game here at home. American soccer lives on Sirius XM FC 157.
Leafs won and the Montreal Canadiens won as we get set for the start of the second period. The referees tonight, Trevor Hansen and Furman South, and James Tobias and Mark Shuchuk of Waterdown, Ontario.
I'm pretty kind of cool for them to be doing a Montreal-Toronto home opener. Do you have, other than the first one in Chicago, which would be a gimme special for many reasons, do you have a most memorable opening night? I know, and I know
Off the top of my head, I don't. I know one opening night when we took the train to Montreal.
That was 94, wasn't it?
But and it was, everybody got dressed up.
With the fedoras?
And Wilbur and I went and got, and went to Malabar's and got Roaring 20s costumes. I had a lovely blue pastel.
I was going to say, it's nice to see you still have it.
Yes. Still fits, too. And Frank Finnegan was on that trip. He was 93 or 4 years old. And when he shook your hand, he took you right to your knees. Leafs moving from left to right. on your radio dial. Have it down in the offensive zone with Matthews. Trying to drive the net, then was knocked back on the boards and gets it off on the near wing for Michelli. Michelli loads one, stick handles into the corner again. Look to drop it off, but doesn't. Still has it near half boards, dropping it back for Matthews. Matthews doesn't shoot it. Matthews into the slot. Now he does, but it's a weak shot that is easily gloved off the ice by Montembeault, but some pretty good cycling work done there by Matthias Michelli, who was on this line with Matthews and Matthew Nye.
Yeah, Michelli really fell out of favor in Utah last year. And the year before with Arizona. Actually had some pretty impressive numbers that I know the Leafs are hoping he'll get back to. Last year, just 8 goals and 18 points. The year before, 17 goals, 57 points.
Here's Tavares off a face-off win in the far corner. It comes back on a bouncing puck that is just kept in, but now the Canadiens are able to dig it out and bring it to center with Newhook. Getting in on the right side. Working into the far corner is Demidov. He came in front of the net, but it was knocked away. Canadiens keep it in with a long shot that is going to be covered up by Stolars and held for a face-off. Ivan Demidov arrived with great fanfare to Montreal a year ago.
Scored, I believe he scored in his first shift or second
And
shift
was very
in the game against
impressive.
Chicago. Yeah.
Yep.
2 goals and 2 regulars, or 2 goals, 1 goal, 2 points.
There
in
you go.
2 regular season games. Did not score in the 5-game series loss to the Washington Capitals in the opening round, but some predict him to be the favorite to win the Calder Trophy like teammate Lane Hudson did last year.
Draw one by Toronto. Dragged out by Robertson on the right side. He tries to play it to himself in the corner and goes in there against Hudson. Hudson knocked it around to his defense partner, and the Canadiens have it in their own zone. Banking it out at center ice where it's stolen back, but then stolen by the Canadiens. A shot right down the rebound. They score! Zachary Bolduc gives the Habs a 2-1 lead.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson tried to force it up the right wing boards. It was blocked, and that led to the odd man rush in. Brendan Gallagher let it go from the right wing circle. It was stopped by Stolars, but Bolduc going straight to the net. Picked it up and slipped the rebound past Stolars. And the Canadiens have opened up their first lead of this game. By 2 goals off the rush, and both after turnovers. Stolars gets his blocker on it, but the rebound pops out about 2 feet in front of him.
And he had no chance after that. Here the Canadiens back into the zone. Laine got a shot away, but had his stick knocked up, but it comes in front of the net again. And Hudson can't pull the trigger on the shot. Stolars has lost his goal stick, but now has recovered it as it goes to the far corner. Laine with a shot that deflected wide of the goal. Hudson trying to play it in front, took a hit. Broken cue getting in the way of people, but now against the near boards, the Leafs can't get it out because the pass went to the player who had the broken stick, and Lorenz was not able to do anything with it. Goes out of play now on a deflection.
Well, one of the biggest improvements for the Leafs last year, and I think it showed in the goaltending stats for the most part, Joe, was the defensive play. But boy, we have seen some cough-ups here in the early going of this game. It's just kind of those 50-50 soft plays. Like, I think it's okay if I do this. Not a lot of real purpose. We saw it on the first goal on an entry that led to a turnover and a shorthanded marker.
Now a scrum for the puck in the near corner with Brandon Carlo leaning on his man. Kapanen. It goes around the boards, but the Canadiens keep it in at the right point. In along the boards far side, Demidov trying to work in front of the goal. He does, and it's knocked away, and the Leafs just play it off to the boards somewhat haphazardly there by Tavares, and the Canadiens are back into the forecheck and a centering pass, and that time the shot by Kapanen was blocked. Leafs will get it out into neutral ice, but no further. Canadiens trying to bring it back, but another turnover. This time the Leafs get it up on the left wing to Nylander. Nylander driving in on the left wing. Engaged by Matheson, but Nylander comes out of the scrum. A pass off into the wing for Tanova's shot from a sharp angle, and an easy save made there. And now the Canadiens have gotten it out and down the ice. And an icing call will come against the Habs as it'll come back into Montreal territory.
Shots now favoring the Canadiens at a clip of 14-10. We mentioned Lane Hudson winning the Calder Trophy last year. Demidov may be the favorite to win it. The most hockey pundits this season. But Lane Hudson, it was the first win of the award. His having the top rookie for the Canadiens since 1971, Ken Dryden.
Wow.
Now the Leafs went a long time between Britt Selby and Austin Matthews.
Yes, they did. Yep. Brought in over the line by Matthews. He drops it off. Michelli getting it back along the boards, but runs into a traffic jam with Hudson. Nye's able to free it up to Matthews. Matthews curls. Matthews still with it. Rings it around the boards, back of the net, looking for Nyes. And the puck goes free, and Nyes now trying to come away with it back of the net. But Suzuki is able to play it out at center and forces Benoit back into neutral ice. Leafs come away with it again, and Matthews wheels in on the right side. Holds and now make a slow pass into the slot, but it was picked off before it reached Tanev, and the Canadiens bring it back into the zone. Caulfield onto the right wing half boards, leading 2-1. A pass into the slot off on the right wing side. Another pass in front of the net. The Leafs don't get their stick on it, and it's the Canadiens again centering with Caulfield, getting it back to the blue line, but it's tipped out at center ice then by Michelli. Canadiens back in over the line. They have numbers and a pass for Hudson, but it went off his sticker. He was in alone. Back to the blue line. Gooley into the slot again, and a shot this time. Dranks off a stick, and Suzuki couldn't get it through. Canadiens again with Caulfield. Back to the point, near side for Cooley. Caden Gooley gets it to Suzuki. Suzuki to the far side. Leafs trying to push it out at center, but don't get there. And then finally, it is punched out into neutral ice by Matthews, and the Leafs will get a much-needed change started.
That was a long shift for Matthews.
Down into the corner in the near boards. Tanev unable to reach it. Domi can't get to it either. Canadiens on the far side, a drive, and it's whistled into the chest of Stolars, who will stop play. 14, make it 15 shots on goal for Montreal. 10 for the Maple Leafs at this point, and the Habs with a 2-1 lead.
I will give you one opening night that sticks out maybe a little bit to me.
All right.
Or I'll give you a couple. Number one was Pat Quinn's first year behind the bench. Last year at Maple Leaf Gardens. So that would have been 1998. And Curtis Joseph got the start at home against Detroit. And then the first shootout in NHL history, Tom Nikasic and the Ottawa Senators. That's who you want in a shootout, right? The first time. And
good luck.
The Senators, as you might have imagined, won that.
Morgan Riley's pass, look out, goes off a skate and into the Toronto bench. Yeah, there was one of the great lines. Pat Quinn taking over the team, and we're in Hamilton going through training camp, and he pulls me aside and says, there's a lot more talent here than I was led to believe. And he took that talent, molded it pretty well. And a young kid from the Czech Republic, Thomas Kaberle, became one of the prized pupils, right?
A big surprise at a training camp,
Although Harry Neal said he would never take Thomas duck hunting because he'd never shoot. Here's Riley in with a shot. That's not done. There's a rebound in front of the goal. Bouncing puck still, and no, Riley couldn't get a stick on it. Lorenz does. Trying to play it back to Riley. He kicks it to him, and Riley got a shot away. Shot scores! Yorkbrook on a rebound in front has tied the game.
If not for the injury to Scott Laughton, Yarncroc may not be in the lineup. But this is what you want from this line. With Nick Waugh and Steven Lorenz. Get pucks deep, win the battles, go to the net. And the Leafs do all of that on this shift, which ends with Yarncroc getting a rebound in front of Montembeault after a point shot. and snapping it past the Montreal goaltender. Yarncroc had just one goal last season in a limited amount of games. Just 19 games played, but has scored in the opener here to tie this one at 2.
He had 6 assists to go along with that one goal in a disappointing season for him that was injury-filled. But here he gets an opportunity. And on the fourth line, they bang one home to tie the game at 2s. Tavares unable to come up with a puck off a face-off win at the Canadiens' blue line. Matheson regroups and gets it out at center and in over the line on the right wing side. Evans into the slot area. A chance for Anderson to shoot it and went wide. Canadiens keeping it in with Anderson back of the net. Trying to work out of the corner. Josh Anderson lays it back to the goal. Chipped along the wall then by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but not out. Laine shields it well. Dishes off on the right side. A pass in the slot. Grabbed off by Matheson. Matheson in the far corner. Leeds chasing, but not getting anywhere with it. Canadiens have it knocked away, but they regain it. Laine playing it back at the net. Cycle cut off there by the Leafs. And McMahon will play it off the boards and down into Montreal territory.
That's a kind of ugly goal you need, isn't it, on a regular basis?
Absolutely. McCabe got it freed up, and the Leafs are going to play it off the glass high to center ice. Just out of the reach of Michelli. If he had been able to tip it, Matthews was away. Back in on the right wing side. Demidov with a shot that's going to go off his stick and go up into the screen and out of play. 13:04 to play in the second period. Both teams have traded goals in the first and in the second. We're tied at 2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
With a Subaru, a vehicle that's built to last comes standard. Heated front seats? Standard. High ground clearance? Standard. Eyesight driver assist to help spot the scooter delivery guy texting, merging, and eating all at once? Standard. Parallel parking perfectly while someone watches? Uncommon. But in a Subaru? Standard-ish. Subaru. Uncommon comes standard. Hurry into your local Subaru dealership today for lease rates from 1.99% for 24 months on select models and get great value that, you guessed it, comes standard. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
At Conestoga Farms, our eggs are more than just eggs. They're a promise from local farmers to you.
Local is near and dear to my heart.
Local means fresh.
For our golden yolk eggs, we feed our hens a natural diet, including marigolds, a natural source of lutein, so the yolks are rich, golden, and full of nutrients.
There's a great sense of pride in being able to feed our own family a product that we've raised.
Feed your family like we feed ours with Conestoga Farms golden yolk eggs, because local matters.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
People sometimes ask, sure, you can consolidate people's debts using telekinesis, but what else can you do? As if changing lives isn't enough. Well, I can also use my power to make it rain hot dogs. It's still not as cool as consolidating debts into one easy payment, though.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Getting some wonderful response, and I can't thank everybody enough for all of their kind comments. But once again, we've got people all over the world listening. Simon Dingley, who is a very big columnist here in Toronto, is on board a cruise ship in northern Japan listening to the game.
I worked with him in the 90s at Global with Jim Taddy.
Sure,
and then Simon, of course, was CBC for a long time.
Surely to God there's something more exciting to do on a cruise ship than listen to you and I.
I've never been on a cruise, but I don't know if that's definitive. Actually, my younger brother's gone.
Yeah.
Him and his wife Maggie go on a regular basis.
Nice. Point shot by the Canadiens deflects wide of the Leaf goal, and Matthews plays the puck around the boards. It'll be grabbed off by Michelli. He gets it ahead to Matthews. Off the boards for Nyes, a bit too far. Nyes into the corner, banging in there with Hudson. The puck came free. Back to the point it comes to Tanev. He can't send it to the net, and as he tried to chop it to get it in deep, it goes off his stick and into the screen. 12:40 to play in the second period, and a face-off coming in the Montreal zone to the left.
Nylander and Tavares assisted on the Bobby McMahon goal, but you figure this is one of those games. As we see, the Jays have taken a 2-1 lead on the Yankees in the top of the 5th inning. But this is one of those games where you're thinking, okay, the big boys have got to be the deciding factor, right? Take it over at some point.
Winning the draw goes to Robertson. Robertson's shot gave a big rebound, and then Domi whipped it at the net. But Montembeault was in good position and took it on the chest and held for a face-off.
You like that, though, from Mickey Robertson, right?
You don't have to tell him twice to shoot.
Went off the face-off. He kind of sifted out to the right point and then just turned and threw it to the net, but then it produced the big rebound.
Face-off won by the Canadiens. They'll get the puck into neutral ice and down to the Toronto blue line. Riley does a nice job of taking his man out, and the Leafs get it to center. Robertson trying to send it into the zone, had to go off a stick, and the Canadiens will slip it right back down into Toronto territory. Oliver Kapanen into the forecheck as the Leafs get it out in center ice territory before it's shot back in again. And Brandon Carlo shows you he might have been a first baseman back in the day with all of that height, because he made a great grab of the puck and then got it out at center. Here's Robertson, drop pass, that was blocked. Here's Oliver Ekman-Larsson, a deflection in front of the net by Benoit, and it went just wide of the goal.
Benoit completely whiffed on the one-timer and then got it back the redirection as he kept heading straight to the net, and that wouldn't go.
He doesn't score very often.
No, we said the big boys have to come through. But Kelly Yarncroc tied it. He had 1 goal last year. Simon Benoit had just a single goal last year as well. And I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember it off the top of my head. I think Yarncroc was in Utah, if I'm not mistaken, or Seattle. Somewhere west.
Out and down the ice. It's going wide of the Leaf goal. Icing waved off, though. Oliver Ekman-Larsson gets it ahead. Nylander gave it back to him as he skates back of the goal. Got it ahead, and now he turns in his own zone. OEL starting out with a pass for Nylander. Nylander with a long left wing feed looking for Riley. Riley sends a weak shot in, deflected off of Montembeault, and it's caromed all the way to center ice. It was actually a pretty good shot in retrospect.
Seemed to ramp up in a hurry, didn't it?
Yes. Nylander across center and to the line and into the slot, left wing feed, Tavares a drive, and a good glove save made by Montembeault to stop play and bring a face off. And now the Leafs have taken over the shot clock race with a 16-15 advantage.
Excuse me.
Oh, right, jeez. So I apologize profusely. I realize you are in charge of shots on goal accumulation. I will not do it again in my final season. What are the shots on goal, by the way?
16-15, but the next one is a big one.
I'll be the judge of that. Here's Anderson trying to get it in front of the net, knocked off the stick, and Nyes plays to the neutral ice, but the Canadiens bring it right back in again with Laine getting a weak shot away as it deflected to the side of the goal. Canadiens back in the net, in front of the net now, trying to get a shot was Evans as it comes back. Carriere dropping it back to the blue line for Jake Evans. Evans over on the far side. Laine goes to the front of the net. Good pass interception, though, by Brandon Carlo. And Nyes will send it deep into Montreal territory. Canadiens get it out at center to the Leaf blue line. Tanev sends it right back the other way. Yarncroc will deny icing by getting in on the forecheck, but can't come up with the puck. And Alexander Carriere will get it out at center for Montreal. The Leafs 2 and the Canadiens 2. Brought in on the wing. Here's Nicholas Roy getting down into the corner for the Maple Leafs. Centering pass. Yarncroc tried to get a shot away, but had it knocked away. Canadiens get it out at center. Trying to get it across the line was Caulfield. It'll roll in on goaltenders Stolars, and the veteran will cover up on this to stop play and send us to a commercial break. Yarncrook has tied the game in the second period, 2-2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Netflix is a Joke Radio brings you exclusive comedy specials and stand-up from Netflix's massive library from the world's biggest comedians.
He's Mick Jagger. I pitched him a joke and he went, not funny.
We give you unparalleled access to Netflix's top premieres. And join Tom Papa and Fortune Feimster every day for interviews with the biggest names in comedy. Netflix is a Joke Radio Channel 93. Search comedy on your SiriusXM app.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
We deliver the NHL.
Head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, Rod Brind'Amour. What's the mental approach to get to the dance?
Every year you start at the same spot as every team, right? Like you're at the bottom of the mountain. And when we get to that point, if we can, then we can knock down the final kind of stretch highway we haven't been able to cover, you know. So let's make the best out of every day and play our ass off every night and see what happens.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Face-off coming in the Toronto zone to the right of Anthony Stolarz. 9:41 to play, second period. And the Leafs are tied 2-2 with the Habs after half the game.
It's one of maybe the few years that we've opened the season where both teams are expected to be competitive in the postseason.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, kind of taken away from the COVID season without fans when they had the Canadian division.
That was as bizarre
still
a season as we have ever had. Here's Yarncrook knocking it off to the left wing boards. Lorenz into the forecheck, draws a crowd. Canadians trying to flip it out. Knocked down into the center ice area, and it'll be grabbed off by Tanev, who tries to stretch things out and will do so. He'll give it off to Jake McCabe. McCabe up for Waugh. Waugh's stick exploded while he was trying to take the pass, and the Canadian Slavkovsky gets it in over the line, only to give the puck away. Waugh getting a new stick, but getting replaced as he heads to the bench. That always astounds me. Here's Domi, and across the line. Max lost his stick in the exchange. Out come the Canadians now down into the Toronto zone. Benoit ties up his man, and the Leafs come away with the loose puck, and they bring it out with a pass that hit a stick. That went off Dakota Joshua, brought back into the Toronto zone, and Stolarz is out of the net, looking to play it back, and does to Oliver Ekman-Larsson to Domi. Domi got it up on the wing, but Dakota Joshua couldn't get it out. Now Max has made a nice play to get it ahead. Robertson in across the line for Joshua. Joshua goes wide, took it into the corner, couldn't get it back to Robertson, who was stationed off to the side of the dot. And the Canadians get it out at center and get it down into Leaf territory. Played around the boards and in back of the net. Kapanen got it up on the right wing side. Doc keeping it alive on the far side for Jake Evans. Evans gets it back to the point. Long shot, wired wide of the goal. Rebound near side. Dakota Joshua will free it up and get it back of the net. Leafs are going to play it around the boards and out and down the ice. But the linesman says that because they were changing, they could have played it and no icing. Leafs benefit by getting a change of players. Hudson brings it back into the Leaf zone. Stolarz plays it ahead. Tavares trying to flip it out. Got it to center, but no further. 2-2 is our score here in the second period. Bobby McMahon, who opened the scoring in the first, gets it ahead for Tavares. Tavares on for Willie. Nylander down the boards and into the right wing corner. Hudson gave him the business along the wall. Nylander comes out on his backhand, turns to his forehand to elude one. Nylander closing. Nylander sends it in on goal. That was stopped and it banks to the far point. OEL dropping it off. Wrist shot by Willie went wide of the net. Tavares in the corner coming out with it. Leafs getting some cycle work done. Long shot by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, swallowed up by Montembeault. 18th shot on goal for the Maple Leafs with 6:54 to go in the second period. Tied at 2.
Leafs don't get rewarded for this, but you like Bobby McMahon. Joe goes right to the front of the net. Ekman-Larsson wrists one in just to get it on goal. And McMahon just arrives a little bit late, but still provided the screen. Montembeault had to look through him to get to the puck.
Draw one in a centering pass, and a scramble in front of the Montreal goal was knocked away. It comes to the point. OEL with a shot that went off a leg and went wide. Cleared out at center ice, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson goes back to recover the puck to quickly get it ahead to Nyes. Nyes just dumps it into the zone. Got around Mike Matheson, but there might be a penalty here to Toronto, and I think it is Nyes who used his glove hand to get it away, but now it's down into the Toronto zone with an extra attacker on the ice, but now Nyes touches the puck, and it will be he who is penalized.
And not the penalty you want to take in the offensive zone when the Leafs were starting to come with waves of pressure.
2 minutes for holding.
But Nyes is going to be gone for holding as he grabbed a hold of Matheson, trying to get around him and go for the loose puck in the corner. Yeah, this, I mean, it was only a split second, but it was enough to not only get a hold of Matheson, but force the turnover.
So the Leafs are a man short for the second time in the contest. The only time they've had the power play, it blew up in their face with Patrick Laine in the penalty box, as Oliver Kapanen scored shorthanded. Leafs play it off the boards to the near wing. It'll be backhanded but not out. Kept alive by Caulfield. Caulfield gets it back to the point to Hudson. Hudson to Caulfield on the near half boards. Down low again, it comes back to Caulfield. Caulfield back to the point again to Hudson. Hudson walks the line, dishes to Caulfield. Down low, trying to come out in front. Good play made there by goaltender Stolarz, and then quickly cleared out into neutral ice by Jake McCabe. Canadians try to shoot it right back in again. Stolarz can't knock it down back of the goal. Canadians come away with it, and it is Suzuki looking back for Hudson. Hudson walks the line with it, works to the left wing side to Caulfield. Caulfield holds, drops it off again, this time to Suzuki. Suzuki looking for Caulfield down at the side, goes back into the slot. Good play by Hudson to keep it alive. It goes back into the corner. Canadians throwing it around in the perimeter. Hudson with a shot in traffic, pad save, big rebound, grabbed off and cleared into the corner by Toronto, but not out. Hudson down in for Suzuki. Suzuki back to Hudson. Hudson high in the slot, back to Suzuki, down low for Caulfield. Good blocker save made by Stolarz. Puck in the far side, unable to get it out. It comes back to the blue line as Joshua couldn't clear. Canadians with it again. Hudson once more, off onto the right wing side. Penalty is a half minute left in it, and the Leafs are a dog-tired group out there now. Suzuki holding, back to Hudson. Hudson to the right wing side, a one-timer. That went wide, but it won't clear. Hudson has kept it in. Hudson in the slot, loses it, gives it away. And Nicolas Roy is the beneficiary of that, and a tired group heads to the Leaf bench.
The 3 power plays we've seen, that's the best either team has looked for the extra man.
Did they get a shot on goal? They moved it around extraordinarily well,
Yeah,
but I don't know if they got a shot.
I thought Stolarz came up with a couple in tight early on it.
All right. Nyes out of the penalty box, clears it down into Montreal territory. Newhook brings it back for the Canadiens, but it is quickly knocked out and then shot back in by Montreal, but the Leafs counter. Up ahead for Willie. Nylander across the line, trying to get it in along the boards for Johnny. Tavares into the corner. Tavares now double-teamed, lost the puck, and the Canadians are able to punch it out at center ice. And an icing call is going to come as... No, it's going to be waved off.
I don't think it got to the line.
I guess I should pay attention. What? Leafs get it up at center, off Nye's skate, but not into the zone. Launched high down into Toronto territory. Brandon Carlo takes a hit to make a play. Got it ahead for Domi, who got it to the line, but not out. Then stolen back, and Domi starts out at center. Domi's in over the line. He's got a man with him, but couldn't come up with the pass as Carrier stood him up, and now the Canadiens in on the right wing side, and a shot whistles wide of the goal and comes to the near wing. A great opportunity there for Josh Anderson, who has really been a Leaf killer over the last number of years. He has enjoyed playing against Toronto.
10 goals in his career against the Leafs.
Benoit off the boards. The Leafs slash it in over the line. Quickly played back, but Yarncrook is able to keep it in. Left wing side, Riley. His shot went wide. Leafs unable to come away with the rebound. Laine got it up on the wing, but not out. Canadians will bump it off the boards and get it to center. And now the Leafs kind of waiting for it here. Almost gave the puck away. Roy given a big hit there by Jake Evans. Knocked Roy right back on his trousers. Leafs get it in front of the net. Roy in front for Nylander. And the shot went off a leg wide. Tanev to McCabe. Into the corner for Willie. Nylander trying to come out, gets it back into the slot. McCabe, a shot, and McMahon then wristed it wide of the goal. McMahon coming out of the corner. Back to the point to Jake McCabe. And McCabe had it knocked off his stick. It comes to center. Leafs trying to counter here, and they do. Tavares in off the goal post. Johnny T rings it off the fire iron. Minute 28 to go in the period. Oliver Ekman-Larsson back in his own zone. A pass in midair was knocked down by Caulfield. He's able to shoot it back into the Toronto zone. Now it's centered in front, and a bouncing puck stopped by Stolarz. Played up on the left wing boards. Oliver Ekman-Larsson's pass off a stick. That's blocked. Rebound comes to Stolarz. He's going to hang on to that. And Brandon Carlo mixing it up in the far corner. And was that Slafkovsky?
Yeah, throwing a few rights. Slafkovsky, number 1 pick from a couple of years ago. Only had 4 goals in 39 games in his rookie year. And last year, 20 goals, 50 points. And they're hoping he does the same thing Matthew Knies does, better every year.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Face Off Inside the NHL returns, taking you deeper behind the scenes than ever before. See it all from the star-studded Four Nations Face Off tournament.
Us against the world, boys.
To the adrenaline of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I'm scared of you guys.
With candid interviews and backstage access, experience the sacrifice, the rivalries, and the determination that define NHL greatness.
Just when I thought last year couldn't be topped, here we are.
A new season of Face Off Inside the NHL. Watch now only on Prime Video.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you, with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They could help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-318-1940. That's 1-800-318-1940. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-318-1940. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-318-1940. Ontario license number 4705786.
Face Off in the Toronto zone, brought to you by Alpine Credits. Do you own your own home and need a loan? Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca.
choppy first half. The last half of the second period's really opened up, hasn't it?
Sure has.
A little more end-to-end.
Shots are almost even. There I go again. I mean, I've done this for 44 years. I should know that you're in charge of shots on goal.
I have one responsibility.
Boy, gonna have to have a swear jar.
I'm gonna start mentioning the score.
Oh no, you can't do that.
I know.
It's the only thing I have left. Canadians get it in over the line. A drop pass for Slafkovsky, and he fanned on the pass. Then he got it free again on a scramble at the side of the goal. Oh, my. 2 bad turnovers, one by each team in the space of about a foot and a half.
Well, that was Matthew Nice. Tried to make a play in front of his own net instead of just clearing it.
Played ahead at center, and now here's Suzuki into the zone. Suzuki has it knocked down by Matthews. Matthews fighting for possession. Had it stolen back. Cleared it over on the right wing side. Run back of the net, the Canadian center, and it goes off a stick, and Nyes will play it out into neutral ice. Canadians shoot it right back in again. McCabe punching it around the boards. Spun out at center, and there's the horn to end the period. The Leafs 2 and the Canadians 2. After 40 minutes of play, McMahon along with Yarncrook for the Maple Leafs, Bolduc and Kapanen sandwiched in between.
I mean, I don't do much with the betting apps or anything like that, but I would think if you had those 4 on your ticket, I think you'd be doing pretty well after 40 minutes.
Can you imagine you and I being gamblers?
Oh, no. We've screwed our lives up enough.
No kidding. We've ruined this enough without piling that on.
I'd say 0 for 5 at marriages was a gamble
enough of a gamble enough. Exactly.
Off, yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll step aside. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart coming along for our second intermission. The Leafs 2 and the Canadians 2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
In a season already plagued with injuries and underachievers, your fantasy football team is faced with yet another obstacle.
The bye weeks are here! The bye weeks are here!
When your star player takes a week off, listen to SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio for winning fantasy football advice.
You got to work the waiver wire. You got to make trades. The draft is just a piece of the puzzle.
Our experts tell you who to play in this time of need.
Now the work really starts.
Your frontline source for fantasy football, Channel 87, and on the SiriusXM app.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. We deliver the NHL.
With Jim Nill, the general manager of the Dallas Stars, what have you determined over the summer that seems to be missing over the last 3 years?
It's not easy to win in the playoffs. Really, it's just finding a way to punch through. You maybe get a little bit lucky. You know, had to go through a lot of adversity, but that's what you have to do, and that's kind of a message to my team is, you know, you've gone through adversity over these last 2-3 years, and you just have to keep at it.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken. Don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
But the other thing that Connor McDavid has earned is he's earned a voice in what happens with the team. Where are you guys headed? What are you guys doing? I need to know, because he made it very clear in his comments, I want a chance to win and win again. That doesn't mean he gets final say. They need to listen to Connor McDavid. They need to express their views to Connor McDavid.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Nothing puts you closer to the action than Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
St. Louis Blues General Manager Doug Armstrong. Alex Steen, speak to where that's at, the succession plan. And
he is going to be the manager after this season. You have to know when your expiration date is with the group. And of course, I think it was time to be honest with myself that the organization itself needed to change. And we're excited to have Alex ready to take over.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Everywhere you want it. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Riley couldn't get a stick on it. Lorenz does. Trying to play it back to Riley. He kicks it to him, and Riley got a shot away. Shot score! On a rebound in front, has tied the game.
And that's where we stand after 40 minutes of play. 2-2 Habs and Leafs after 40 minutes is brought to you by 241 Pizza. Order 241's one large pizza, 2 toppings for $12.99 deal today. Call 241-0241 and order online at 241pizza.com as well if you like. So it is tied at 2. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart with you live from Scotiabank Arena. And I'm going to suggest to you, Stu, that last goal wins.
Yeah, it's about like a tennis match, right? It's just going back and forth, a little bit of background noise too. So the one thing is, through 40, Maple Leafs haven't played their best game. They've been struggling a little bit to advance the puck past the blue line. A couple turnovers. I think it's 10 through 2 periods. I'm counting probably a couple more than that.
Oh, yeah.
But again, it's just, I don't know if it's jitters or just repetition, but again, these are some of the basics, and you have to make those routine plays routine. So if I'm Craig Berube, I'm harping on that. But the one positive is, shots are 22-19 through the first 2 minutes. You have an opportunity. If you elevate your game, it's for the taking. So if you elevate your game by 10-15%, you have a chance to maybe walk away with 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's early season hockey. As we discussed in preseason, because we did a lot of those games, this unit really hasn't played a lot together, and that includes the special teams. You can practice all you want, as you know, but the game situation is slightly different, so it's going to take a little time, and this is going to be a regular thing. Next year when there's 4 preseason games, guess what? The first couple of weeks is going to look a little rough, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I would suggest to you that maybe Craig Berube goes to the blender in the third period a bit, because he's already moved up Domi with Matthews and Nyes at the end of the period. May just have been for one play, but I'd look for that.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I was listening to one of the shows today, and they were mentioning that the blinds probably will be in the blender by the time it hits the third period. So I guess they did choose on that. But I think the one thing that's worth noting is, when you're talking about the preseason, everyone's going through it too, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're going, they didn't dress Caulfield and Suzuki for all 5 games. So you have to find your way for a rhythm. So for me, what I'm looking for, just based on how the disappointment last year is, you got to come in hungry and hit the ground running. This can't be a 10-15 game. Let's find our groove. Right, Matthews needs to come in and light the lamp and elevate and take his game to the next level. Same thing with Nyes and Tavares and Nylander. So that's who I'm looking for right now going into the third. Is it going to be different than this year, or is it, we're just going to sort of look? I call it, there's pilots, there's co-pilots, and there's deadheads. We're playing a little bit of deadhead hockey right now where they're like, oh, yeah, I'm just on the
I was hoping there was another layer there.
Right? And again, we need some of the co-pilots maybe to step up into pilots. But again, I'm not going to be overcritical through 40 minutes, but the one positive is I'm going to see how they come out for the first 3-4 shifts to start this third.
The Yarncroke goal was really good because that's zone pressure and a great shot, right?
Yes, and it's worth noting that started off with Morgan Riley on an entry, just firing it. He's playing great this game. He's got a little bit more hop in his step. He did lose some weight in the offseason. He's got 4 shots through the first 2 periods as well, too. But, they created chaos, and they're going to have that as their mentality. We're going to go to the net. We're going to crash the net, second and third opportunities. And what it did was, sort of make the Montreal Canadiens collapse. It went back out to the point, shot, broken play. Yarncroke puts it home. So it's good to see him get a goal, too, because he's one of those guys that's fighting for an everyday job right now on this Maple Leafs roster. But bottom 6 depth scoring, that's an added bonus right now for this group.
Well, and it's the 4th line, so we talked about Domi possibly moving up and maybe Michelli moves back down. I don't know exactly how they're going to do that. They seem to be minus a center to be able to pull that off, but we'll see. Maybe he just shortens the bench as the third period happens. Don't know, but it is tied at 2, so it's not like they're in a hole here.
Yeah, and Domi's actually having a pretty solid game. 3 shots, 71% in the faceoff dot 2, and the one thing that I'm noticing, too, is the lack of right shots on the back end and in the O-zone. It's sort of getting them hemmed in, and they're not breaking out as clean. So that's something, as a right winger, when I had to play on the left side, I'd hated it because I'd lose my bearings. And sometimes they're losing their coverage and their bearings in the D-zone. So that's something they're going to have to get up to speed with practice time and all that. But I can see that being a factor as the season wears on as well.
It's kind of a reversal from the first period. I thought the Habs really came out of the gate in the second period. Bolduc gets the goal. I think this guy's a marvelous pickup by the Habs.
Yeah, coming from the St. Louis Blues. And, sometimes just a change of scenery can really make a difference. And he's big, fast, strong. And great job on him going into the net. Lane Hudson, again, we talk about transporters. That's a capital T, how he's getting up and down the ice, full speed. He's playing well. Slavkovsky, you're seeing him get to the net, get mixed up. So they have some players there. I noticed Anderson, we've talked about in this building. He's been pretty decent.
The leaf killer.
Productive as well. But
the Burlington boy, a leaf killer.
Montreal's got some solid players, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the goaltending's been good at both ends.
Yes, Stolarz, again, just calm, cool, collected, not really swimming. At the end there, they were banging in 2-3 opportunities. He just relied on his training, long, big leg in front of the puck. Same thing with Montembeault, too. So I think it's goaltending on both sides has been great. And as you said, it's going to come down to a bad bounce, a breakdown. I think that's going to be the game winner tonight.
Well, and I think there's some key to Austin Matthews in his line to get something done here.
And that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Turning from the co-pilot to the main pilot. Hey, you know what? It's my game tonight. And, I think for him, where he needs to improve is maybe just creating his shot selection, right? He was relying on guys to sort of getting the puck coming downhill, but he's got the speed. He can turn pucks over with his size. I like to see him get to the net a little bit more, but I'm not going to be overcritical.
No, it is game 1. So, as you're suggesting, maybe the first 5 minutes of the third period is the key here.
5-5-5. 5 shots, 5 hits, 5 something. Let's go 5 goals. Why not?
Okay. 5's wild. Interesting card game.
That's for the Jays game, I guess, right? 5 runs. Let's go.
Okay. And sometimes that's not enough.
Oh, man.
Sorry, guy. 2-2, Habs and Leafs after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
The Prestons are a hockey family. Growing kids need food, and food needs a proper kitchen. I was sent by Alpine Credits to help with a home renovation loan. I introduced these young athletes to my superhero strength protein diet. Just consult your doctor before eating 300 eggs a day. Plenty of room in that new kitchen, though.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
At Conestoga Farms, our eggs are more than just eggs. They're a promise from local farmers to you.
Local is near and dear to my heart.
Local means fresh.
For our golden yolk eggs, we feed our hens a natural diet, including marigolds, a natural source of lutein, so the yolks are rich, golden, and full of nutrients.
There's a great sense of pride in being able to feed our own family a product that we've raised.
Feed your family like we feed ours with Conestoga Farms golden yolk eggs, because local matters.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp now for free information on how to get started today. InventHelp provides invention services that help everyday inventors get started with their idea. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. Our services include professional materials needed to showcase your invention, and 3D animation and prototype modeling that help you demonstrate your idea. Get down to the details of your idea with a technical drawing. The InventHelp Databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Take advantage of the opportunity to get started today.
Call 1-800-353-6013. That's 1-800-353-6013. Again, 1-800-353-6013.
The housing crisis in the GTA has reached a critical point, with more than 2 in 3 residents being affected.
Reporting that almost 9 million Canadians are living in food-insecure households.
Over 1 million people in the GTA now live below the poverty line.
Just out today, mental health support is the #1 reason people are calling 211 for assistance.
At United Way, we wake up to a different alarm every day. Help us end poverty and build a better GTA any way we can. Donate today at unitedwaygt.org.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go to town for a great new Tundra or Tacoma. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. Just one of the game going as we mumble here. It's the Bruins 1-0 over the Caps after 40 minutes of play. Pasternak has the Boston goal. Later on tonight, in less than an hour, it'll be the Flames in Edmonton, and at the same time, the Kings in Vegas against the Golden Knights in Mitch Marner. In our game, it's tied at 2. After 40 minutes of play, Leafs and Habs. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Level up your game day vibes with SiriusXM's Tailgating Anthems channel. Stadium bangers to take you from the parking lot to the end zone. Touchdown! Tailgating Anthems.
Let's go! 'Cause I'm good. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy.
Now for a limited time on Channel 105 and anytime at home with the SiriusXM app on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet devices.
Don't call it a comeback.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on SiriusXM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
But the other thing that Connor McDavid has earned is he's earned a voice in what happens with the team. Where are you guys headed? What are you guys doing? I need to know, because he made it very clear in his comments, I want a chance to win and win again. That doesn't mean he gets final say. They need to listen to Connor McDavid. They need to express their views to Connor McDavid.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Nothing puts you closer to the action than Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
St. Louis Blues general manager Doug Armstrong, Alex Steen, speak to where that's at, the succession plan, and
He is going to be the manager after this season. You have to know when your expiration date is with the group, and I think it was time to be honest with myself that the organization itself needed to change, and we're excited to have Alex ready to take over.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
4 p.m. on TSN 1050.
The Leafs 2 and the Canadiens 2 as we head to the third period. Goal scorers have been Bobby McMahon and Kalle Järnkrok for the Maple Leafs. Oliver Kapanen scoring shorthanded in the first period. And Zachary Bolduc are applying for Montreal to give them a 2-1 lead in the second before Järnkrok tied the game up with the fourth line, getting the Leafs even.
Well, one thing I remember Harry Neal always told me, Joe, when I started doing this was said you could use last year's stats for the first 10 games.
Yep.
Then throw them out.
That's right.
As we're seeing here, like we said, kind of the unexpected guys in the score sheet. John Tavares with a great chance in the second period, rattling one off the post. I thought the Matthews line looked better in the second period.
Looked like Domi was going to start, but that is not the case. As Matthias Michelli remains on the wing with Matthews and Nyes. Michelli is a left-handed shot playing right wing. So here we go, the start of the third period. Leafs to the right, Canadiens to the left. Puck is dropped and we're underway, and the puck comes up on the left wing side and it'll be shot in by Jake McCabe. Down the boards goes Matheson to play it up on the wing, and the Canadiens will just launch it out at center. Pass back, did that go off a glove at the bench? Apparently so, and so play is whistled down, and a face-off will come back in the center ice area. .1946 ready to go here, left in the third period. In a 2-2 tie. Leafs regroup the puck in their own zone. McCabe, a bank pass to the center ice area, but it's turned over. Canadiens back in with Suzuki in, dropping for Caulfield. Caulfield goes wide from a sharp angle. The shot stopped by Stolarz, and the Leafs counter back now with Matthews. Matthews flipping it into the corner to himself in the far side. Nyes unable to get there. Suzuki will get it out. And Slavkovsky will play it in on the right side for Caulfield. Shot didn't make it through, but it's right at the doorstep there before taken to safety. And now the Leafs trying to play it out, had it hit the linesman. But here's Bobby McMahon in, and he wristed it just wide of the far post. McMahon with the puck on the far boards. Has a goal as he plays it around back of the net for Nylander in the near corner. Willie didn't reach it. Nyes, or at least Riley, trying to keep it in, and Willie does. Now he sends it in front of the net for McMahon. He can't get a shot away on the backhand, and the Canadiens get it out at center. Kapanen in on the left wing with a pass in that deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Back of the net, stolen back. Goaltender has lost his stick in the exchange, but McMahon is going to get the puck out at center ice and just dump it down into Montreal territory, and a generous icing call from the linesman will bring the play back into the Toronto end.
Boy, Lane Hudson took the long way home there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Mark Shuchuk making that call.
Puck was in the corner, and he did the big wide semi-turn to get there.
I think it went across the goal line by about maybe 6 inches. Leafs have spun it out into neutral ice. No icing this time. Changes coming for the team in blue, and the Canadiens are back of their own goal. Robertson out there with Domi. And Dakota Joshua, as it's cleared down into the Leaf end, and an errant pass will turn into an icing and bring it back into the Leaf zone.
Now we see Kalle Järnkrok even things up in the second period. Is this one of those games where somebody like Nick Robertson finds the back of the net as well, as it's been flashed? I don't know if they flashed from the scoreboard, but the Toronto Blue Jays, Joey, a 4-1 lead over the New York Yankees now.
Whoa.
Top of the seventh inning. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
And now they've got it up on the board. Puck comes out into the center ice area. Robertson dropping it back. Bank pass ahead, deflects to the Montreal blue line, but not in. Gallagher couldn't get free, but is able to knock it out of the air and get it down into the Leaf end. Along the board, spun back up on the wing, and the Leafs will get it out at center before it's wired on a delayed offside down into the Toronto zone. And it's let's go Blue Jays. Here the Canadiens back in their own zone. Laid out at center ice for Evans. Jake Evans gets it ahead for Laine. Laine works in over the line on the left wing. Laine plays it down into the corner. Evans gets in there after it as well. Back along the boards, it's spun to the far side. Lorenz gets a good hit in on his man, but the puck is kept in momentarily and then punched out at center ice, and Lorenz battles hard for it to get it free. It'll be played by Yarncrook down into the zone as the fourth line heads to the bench. How did the Jays get the 2 runs?
All I saw, first and third with one out, and a runner at first.
Placed off on the wing, Suzuki shot. That is blocked by Matthews, who gets up slowly and is heading to the bench, hunched over after blocking that shot. Nyes works it back into neutral ice, but gives the puck away. Then now here is Caulfield in. Sharp angle, try in front of the goal, and it went astray, and it comes all the way back down into Montreal territory.
Since it's my job, Canadians now taken over in the shots on goal. Once again, 25-19.
I was wondering when we were going to get an update.
Feels like mid-season, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Played up on the left wing. Turnover at the blue line, but the Canadians will get to it and bank it out at center. Robertson can't get away. Trying to work it in over the line was Dakota Joshua, but the Canadians get it back the other side. Kapanen in on the right wing. Kapanen had it blocked, carries back along the boards. Now they cycle it back into the slot area. Carrier trying to get a pass in the corner. Tanev chases his man to the far side. Tanev knocked down on the play. Hudson got away from him, and then Tanev came back and intercepted the pass and gets it out at center. Robertson quickly back for Domi, who gets it up on the wing. Then it's turned back in again by McCabe, and the Leafs are back in their own zone trying to organize. Penalty coming here to Montreal.
It might be a slash.
Leafs are stick handling with it down in their own zone, which is always a little more interesting. Nylander starts out, slowly coming to center with a pass to Tavares. Tavares back for Willie and on the right side. And it'll be gobbled up there by Mike Matheson. And so the Leafs will go to their second power play. The first turned into a disaster.
Montreal 93, 2 minutes. Okay.
Now it's going to be a hook. As
Demidov goes to the box.
Might be his first career
penalty.
I don't think it might look.
So Ivan Demidov in the penalty box. The Leafs to the power play. Kapanen scored shorthanded on the first effort. And the draw is won by the Leafs. Riley to Matthews. Matthews slides it into the corner for Nyes. Nyes trying to dig the puck free along the boards, is engaged over there by Dobson. And it's going to be backhanded out and down the ice by the Canadian defender.
The Montreal penalty kill has been impressive, right? They're been very, very aggressive with the Leafs, not allowing them a lot of time and space to set up.
And one would think, with the lack of time together to work on the power play, that any defense would have the upper hand here if you're aggressive. And the Canadians have iced the puck again because the power plays have really not had an awful lot of time together.
And yet, these five have had substantial time in the power play, their time in Toronto.
Here's Matthews getting in over the line, got it down into the corner, flipped it back to the net. It hits the official. Leafs are able to keep the puck in at the blue line by Nylander. Nylander had to go off his skate, but right to Matthews. Tavares dropping it back. Nylander closes down low for Matthews. Matthews looks in front of the net. A pass off to Willie on the near boards, but no shot. Top of the circle, near side. Nylander now back to the blue line, looking for Riley. Riley down low behind the net for Matthews. Matthews still with it. Matthews tries to center to Tavares. Didn't work. Grabbed off on the far side by Morgan Riley. Riley down low. Back it comes to the blue line to Matthews. Matthews doesn't shoot it. Off on the wing from Riley, and Riley works back to the blue line. Riley still with it. No good clear shot yet. Nylander. Matthews, a weak one-timer, went wide. Riley trying to keep the puck in. Get some help from Willie. Nylander along the boards, but has to take it out into neutral ice. 5 seconds left in the power play.
I don't think they got a shot for it.
I don't believe they did either. Oliver Ekman-Larsson up ahead on the left wing. Cleared into the corner by Joshua, but the puck comes back out at center and down to the Leaf zone. And Benoit is there for the Maple Leafs to drop it back. Oliver Ekman-Larsson now circling back in his own zone. Finds his defense partner who gets it ahead for Max Domi. Domi a rink-wide pass that Robertson couldn't handle. Canadians have shot it back, and it deflects to the far boards. Grabbed off by Dakota Joshua, and he'll shoot it in. Benoit pressures Hudson. Pass comes up on the wing, and the Canadians get it out at center. 12:09 left to play in the third period. Game is tied 2-2. Canadians, Matheson with a shot deflects wide. Caulfield back of the goal, had it stripped away. Leafs use some good positioning here to control the puck, but they don't get it out over the blue line. Caulfield off on the wing for Matheson. Played around the boards into the near corner. Caulfield has it knocked away, but it comes to the point. Long shot blocked away by Stolarz. Back to the point again. Matheson, a pass in front of the backhand. Just wide the rebound. It's controlled by the Leafs, and they'll bring it out. Played high to center ice by Yarncrook. Stolen by Lorenz. Oh, and he almost got through in front of the net. Good effort there by Steven Lorenz. Canadians back in the offensive zone. Centering pass back to Hudson. Hudson closes, shot it wide. Oh, he had a good look there, didn't he? Now the Leafs get a break on a broken stick. Matthew Nyes with the breakaway and a goal. Stopped by Montembeault. Rebound in front. Riley scores! Morgan Riley!
What a play by Matthew Nyes. Gets a room on a partial breakaway, is stopped. But Joe, instead of just circling the net after the shot, he puts on the brakes, picks the puck up again, and as he's being held on to by Lane Hudson, he's able to stop and slip it out to Morgan Riley. A little backhand, forehand tuck pass out to the slot. Riley following up, and Riley takes the puck on his backhand in the slot, puts it back to his forehand, and goes over the left shoulder, glove side on Montembeault. The Leafs have the lead again.
But how many players would do the flyby, right? Go around back of the net.
That was the key.
Absolutely. Stayed at the net. Rebound was there. Nyes sets up Riley, and the Leafs have the lead.
They got the break on the broken stick.
Yes, they did. Yep. Puck down in the corner, sent around to the far point. Cooley sends it back to the goal, and now into an empty corner on the near side. Nyes unable to get it out, neither could Benoit. To the side of the goal, knocked away by the Leafs. Goaltender and cleared to the line, but not out. Hudson. Little escape move away from Nyes, who steals the puck back, and he's going to ice it. Bring a face-off back in the Toronto zone.
Life couldn't be better now, could it? Toronto sports scene. Leafs go up to the Canadiens in the third period. Last we saw the Blue Jays 4-1 lead at the Yankee Stadium. Try to eliminate the New York Yankees.
I don't follow it that closely. Is this an important game for them?
Apparently. Now, when the Jays won World Series in 92 and 93,
Leafs are on a pretty good roll, too, weren't they?
Leafs were starting to turn it around, so let's hope.
Never know. Cleared out at center. The Leafs get a much-needed change in. Canadiens play it up on the right side. Kapanen gets it down into the Toronto zone. Tanev around the boards, and now McMahon starts out at center with a left wing feed that was just out of the reach of Nylander. Back come the Canadiens in with Kapanen. Kapanen curls on the boards, trying to get it free. The Leafs don't get it out. Canadiens with it coming off the board, the centering pass, and it was whipped over top of the goal. Now it's punched out at center, and the Leafs trying to break here with a couple of men. Here's Tavares in over the line. Tavares going wide. Tavares around back of the net. Leafs are changing as well. Tavares banks it off. Morgan Rielly holds. Rielly to Carlo. Carlo holds and shoots. Blockered away nicely by Montembeault. 9:08 to play in the third. Brandon Carlo goes back. Gives to Morgan Rielly. Longest serving Leaf has given them a 3-2 lead. Stolen by Domi in front of the goal! Oh, what a glorious chance Robertson had. Montembeault got across with the left pad on a giveaway. Shot back in by Jackeye. Canadiens have to escape. And the Leafs have time and space to change. Rielly taking his time in his own zone. Now approaches center ice with a pass. Oliver Ekman-Larsson shoots it in. Down the boards, it's punched around back of the net for Lorenz. Pinching down is Oliver Ekman-Larsson to keep it in. Jackeye trying to work up on the right wing boards. Gets it out at center. Off a stick to the far wing, but Caulfield arrives to play it down into the Toronto corner. Leafs turn it right back up ice. Quick pass and a good one to get it to Nicholas Roy. Roy in on the zone. Drop pass in front. Shot by Yarncrook went just wide. What a nifty little play by Roy. Back to the net for Roy. Roy works his way out using that big body to shield. Works it back to the blue line. Cycles it back along behind the net for Matthews, who couldn't come out in front of the net with it. Leafs in the middle of a change as it's cleared into the Toronto zone. 7:27 to go, third period. Leafs 3, Canadiens 2. Caulfield gets the puck ahead for Kirby Dach, who can't get across the Leaf line cleanly. Nyes at center, shoots it back into Montreal territory. Canadiens turning with it with Noah Dobson. Finding defense partner Mike Matheson. He'll play it out, intercepted by Matthews. Chopped right back in again by the Maple Leafs, Michelli. Nyes in the forecheck, but the Canadiens, Gallagher, able to get it out at center, but stolen back a couple of times by Max Domi. Leafs get it back and get it to the blue line, but not in any deeper. Broken up at the line again by Benoit. Shot finally into the Toronto zone to the far side. Time ticking away here. 6.5 minutes to play. At center, deflected by Joshua into Montreal territory. Canadiens back. Canadiens get it out at center. A drop pass is knocked away, and the Leafs will chip it back out into neutral ice. But then Robertson gives the puck away. The puck is down and along the boards and now into the corner. Chopped along the wall and now trying to play it back at the net was Jake McCabe. Canadiens come out with a pass back to the blue line. Long shot in traffic went wide. All of this on a giveaway by Robertson. Into the corner. Canadiens cycling the puck well. Work it back to the point. Now a long shot deflected off of Stolarz. The Leafs get to it, and Robertson this time gets it out at center. Son, you want to play, you can't be doing those turnovers.
And the timing couldn't be worse either.
No. Carlo around back of the Toronto goal. Leafs get it ahead. Nylander circles. Nylander, a couple of elusive moves, then drops it back to the defense. Rielly gets it ahead, and it'll be backhanded into the zone by Nicholas Roy. Lorenz into the forecheck. Puck comes back up on the near side. Pass high to the blue line, comes out at center. Roy starts back for Toronto. The big guy's in over the line, but he had it lifted off his stick. Canadians counter now with Anderson. Right wing side, a pass into the slot. Off his stick, and Roy has it again out at center ice. And Lorenz buys the rest of the rink, sending it in deep.
The Leafs are making some smart plays, though, weren't they? Get over the line, dump it in, get a line change, fresh legs out.
Make the Canadians come 200 feet. Shot into the Toronto zone. Stolarz got it along the boards for Matthews. Chipped back in along the boards for McCabe. McCabe couldn't get it by the forecheck of Noah Dobson. And now it's pushed out at center, and Nyes unable to get through the snowstorm in front of the bench.
I mean, we haven't had
a
whistle in a while, and you see that in front of both doors, both benches. The snow piled up where Matthew Nyes might have been off, Joe.
He was away to the races. Canadians get it out at center.
He's waiting for somebody to yell, "Car."
Car! Somebody else.
Yes.
Oh, all right, fine. Well, we've got a break in the action now. I would think they're going to do, yes, they will. We'll go to a commercial break. Morgan Riley has given the Leafs the lead, 3-2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The biggest names are on Off the Ropes.
The one and only Kurt Angle, your Olympic champion. How does that make you feel to hear people associate your name with another legend like John Cena?
It's great because I consider John the greatest of all time. I know I was his first match, and that was really cool. I wouldn't have minded it being John Cena's last match, but there's no way in hell I can get in that ring right now, so it's not going to happen, but it would have been pretty cool.
Off the Ropes, weekdays from 2 to 4 Eastern on Pro Wrestling Nation, Channel 156.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
But the other thing that Connor McDavid has earned is he's earned a voice in what happens with the team. Where are you guys headed? What are you guys doing? I need to know, because he made it very clear in his comments, I want a chance to win and win again. That doesn't mean he gets final say. They need to listen to Connor McDavid. They need to express their views to Connor McDavid.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate. Weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
TSN 1050, everywhere you want it.
The Leafs with a 3-2 lead over the Montreal Canadiens here in the third period. A goal by Morgan Riley from Nyes and Michelli getting his first point as a Maple Leaf.
It was a great pass to get it up to Matthew Nyes on the break, but as we said, it was Matthew Nyes coming to a full stop, getting the puck back, and then finding Morgan Riley in the slot was the key to that goal.
Face-off at center is won by the Leafs. Tanev got to the red line and was able to launch it into the zone. 3:50 to go in the third. Slafkovsky got it to the line and in, and a sharp angle shot. Oh, good blocking save made there by Stolarz. Looking for the top shelf. But when you've got a 6'7" frame, that top shelf is a lot smaller than the one Darren Pang used to allow.
Yeah, that was when Panger played, that was a storage unit up top, not a shelf. I tell you, both goaltenders have been solid, not spectacular. Neither have really been forced to be spectacular, although the save Mondabo made off Nick Robertson here in the third period was a difficult one.
Leafs win the draw. Brandon Carlo got it up on the wing. Domi fights for it on the sideboards. It'll be pushed to the line and knocked out at center ice by Matthew Nyes. Now Domi on the line with Nyes and Matthews. Domi works to the line and in. Played it off to Nyes on the right wing boards, and it's sent around back of the net. Domi after the puck there, but the play comes out on the right side, and Kapanen will get to the line, but the back checking of Nyes brings it back. Here's Domi in on the right side. Domi with a wrist shot that is going to be gloved by Montembeault with 3:07 to play in the third. Face-off coming in the circle to the left.
Yeah, interesting choice for Berube to go to Max Domi on this line. We saw late in the first period, Willie Nylander took a shift with Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes. And, I mean, it's the same every year. You're going to see a lot of experiment in the first 5-10 games.
Face-off won cleanly by the Leafs, back to the left point. Benoit banks it to the side of the goal. It caromed out in front. Gallagher trying to get it out, but Benoit outfights him. He gets it back to the net. Bobby McMahon trying to play it to himself off the end boards. Doing a good job of protecting the puck and killing off time, but the puck then is intercepted by Jake Evans, and Evans then is knocked off the disc by the Leaf forecheck. 2:40 to play. Errant pass, should be icing, and it is.
Boy, Bobby McMahon, great work along the boards, lost it and then knocked it off the puck of Evans, who was trying to get it out. And eventually the Canadiens end up icing the puck. Montreal out shooting the Leafs 30-26, but the Leafs with a go-ahead goal here in the third period from Morgan Rielly to lead it 3-2.
Draw to the right in the Montreal zone. Matthews taking the draw with Yarncrook and Nyes now as the threesome. Played down into the corner by McCabe. Canadians get it back out. Gallagher at center will knock it deep into the Toronto zone. We're keeping an eye on Montembeault for you.
Boy, Montreal might have got away with too many men on the ice.
Canadians have to go back in their own zone. Dobson sends it off and then gets it returned. Montembeault looking at the bench, but no wave yet from the coach. Marty St-Louis across the line. The Leafs get it back out into neutral ice, and the Canadians misfire by sending it even deeper into their own end with 1:56 to go. Certainly Montembeault edging out now. Right wing side for Suzuki. There he goes to the bench, and the sixth attacker onto the ice. Round back of the goal, it comes to the near wing. Nylander after long shot is slotted up by Stolarz, but the Canadians will get what they want. An offensive zone face-off in the Toronto zone with 6 attackers on the ice.
And a quick look at the face-off summary to this point in the game. Leafs have won 61% of the draws. Austin Matthews, and this is a good sign, has won 12 of 19. Max Domi's won 11 of 15.
Draw is won by the Leafs. Fed along the boards. It goes off a stick, but stolen by the Leafs. Roll towards the empty net. Matthews racing after. Score! That was put into overdrive.
Boy, and by the time Matthews caught up with it, it was almost past the net. So Matthews had to still go full speed and almost from, 4 inches above the goal line to the near post. Matthews is able to outrace the defenders and slide it into the empty net. And Matthews on pace for 82.
But way behind his pace of his first season.
And it looks like the Canadians have called the timeout here with 1:32 to go. But yeah, it's funny. That is now goal number 13 for Austin Matthews in season openers, which is a Leaf record. Babe Dye has the next most, I believe, with 9. Now with Matthews out of the 13, 7 of them have come in 2 games.
2 games, yes.
Of course, everybody remembers the first game in Matthews' career in Ottawa, a 4-game night, or a 4-goal night. And then a couple of years ago here against Montreal, a 3-goal game to start the season.
Top of the 8th inning in the Bronx, and it's 4-1 Blue Jays. So possibly a big night in store here in Toronto. Canadians will shoot it in. There goes Montembeault to the net, or to the bench. Leafs get it free and get it up on the wing, but not out. Canadians trying to come to the front of the net, and the backhand went over top of the Leaf goal. Minute 10 left to play. Back to the point. Dobson to the D to Hudson. Off on the wing, and a shot kicked away nicely there by Stolars. The puck up against the boards. The Leafs can't get to it. Kept alive by the Canadiens with less than a minute to go in the period. Dobson back to the point, fanning on it. On the far side was Patrick Laine. Off on the wing, chipped out at center ice by the Maple Leafs. They'll get it to center. Trying to shoot it at the net was Lorenz, but it was blocked. 37 seconds left. Suzuki gets across the line. Lorenz does a good job to deflect it back to the Toronto goal. Canadians getting it back to the point, and the shot coming in traffic was deflected away in front of the goal. Suzuki can't get it to the net. Leafs get it out. Pass up on the right wing. Nylander, breakaway, scores! He had 16 breakaways a year ago with the goalie in the net.
Is that, now will this still count in the stats as a breakaway?
Was there anybody in front of him?
But I mean, is there a stipulation?
I don't know.
Anyway, he's not going to score goals any easier than this. Just took off on the right wing side. Canadian defenders pretty much gave up on it with 14.7 seconds left. And the score is going to flatter the Leafs in this game with a 5-2 victory.
Final seconds ticking down. And
Swings it, rips one deep to right down the line toward the corner, hooking, and it's a home run. A 2-run homer for the Brock Star. And he has hit for the cycle for the second time in his career. A single in the 4th, a triple in the 5th, a double in the 8th, and now a first pitch home run in the 9th, and the Red Sox lead at 16-1.
Yeah, the Red Sox ultimately beat the Yankees in that series 3-1, 3-1. Right now in the Bronx, New York, yeah, that Yankees bullpen is stinking to join up. Yeah, Yankees might be eliminated here 3-1. The Yankees now trail the Blue Jays 5-1. Yeah, Yankees gonna need some of that old school magic. Where's Derek Jeter when you need him? I don't know. Where's Tino Martinez and Scott Brocious? Aaron Boone is there. Why doesn't he help?
I don't know. If you try to swing a bat, you might pull something.
Yeah, they pull his ass onto the train and out of town. Where's A-Rod? Is he in the studio somewhere?
Yeah, him and Jeter. They're talking it over.
Oh, damn. Anyway, today might not be a good day for the Yankees. And there you have it, folks. A few things that took place this day in sports history. How about something that just took place? Bacha, what the hell happened? We got all these rumors about Bill Belichick. He might leave. He might quit. He might buy out. We got a statement from both Belichick and UNC. What happened?
Yeah, so they just put out a very short